Hello, and thank you for joining us for session number 14.
Yes.
I got it right. Okay. 14 of the Unsung Tales, a one-ring actual play on the Happy Jacks RPG Network. To find all the sessions of this game, visit happyjacks.org/unsungtales without the the. And to find all the shows on the Happy Jacks RPG Network, visit happyjacks.org. My name is Kimmy. I'm your lore master for this game. I use she, her pronouns. And yeah, we are 14 sessions in this game. This is amazing. And we're just getting in the deep end. It's so exciting. So, all right, let's go around the table and introduce our players and characters. Let's start with Dave.
Ah!
And I'm going to go
As
take
you
down
may
the
have
website.
just heard, I'm Kadave. I'm playing Hanar, Dwarf of Durin's Folk. We're both he, him. And now carrier of the Pearl Palantir, as I'm going to call it from now on.
Perlantier.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes. It's delightful. And like I said in Discord this week, which if you're not there, you should join because it's fun. It's an awesome thing, right? Like everybody's all worried about it, but it's life-changing in only the positive way. Like,
It's probably fine.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if he ends up trying to use it again. I don't know. He's been having thoughts, I think. But
Yeah, there's nothing on the character sheet that'll affect or anything.
No.
So,
Not affected anyone.
yeah, exactly. Right,
No.
right. All fine. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay, and I play Burl Sausage Brandy Bottom, Hobbit of the Shire, and Messenger at that. We both use he, him pronouns. And I think that's it. I'm really curious to see again if we make it to, a very particular destination this session.
We're just going for a nice walk.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns. And I am here to play Erland of Mythland, a elf of Linden. There we go. Those are the words I'm looking for. A captain elf of Linden who's just doing their most.
Always. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam. I play Runa of Bree. She is a barding treasure hunter. We both use she, her pronouns. And I like to climb stuff and hit stuff with my sword. And definitely not cause any chaos at all whatsoever.
Right. All right. So last time on the Unsung Tales, you were on your way to Rivendell, and you thought for sure you were going to get there. But while going through the Shire, you had discovered some paw prints and things like that. Actually, that was like 2 sessions ago. But last time, you had to handle that. So you fought 3 very large burned beasts, which are basically like huge wolves that also are like hot to the touch and can burn things and set things on fire. And you were very successful in that battle. Although we did have some pretty serious injuries, especially to Erland. And because of that, you decided to stay in Michael Delving for a little bit longer to heal and to kind of recuperate yourselves after that very large battle. And you did a very quick little fellowship session where you decided on your next things. And I think that's everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We will go ahead and, like we described last time, because of the great service that you gave to Michael Delving, you asked them very nicely if they would give you a lift to Bree so that we didn't have to have more of a journey phase when we're about to have a huge journey phase. So they did provide you a cart and a ride from Michael Delving to Bree, which is not very far. So we were kind of like fast traveling to that place. So you are now in Bree. We're going to say that you arrived late last night. We said last time, I think, that we'd stay at Runa's house again.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, unless anyone specifically wants to have stayed at the Prancing Pony or somewhere else.
No.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right, so we are going to have a bit of a scene before we take off on our journey phase because you have a whole bunch of really crazy stuff, and Runa's family is very curious.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how we explain these things.
Did we ever decide what we were doing as a fellowship for the fellowship phase?
That was sort of my question as well. I hadn't
Yeah.
written
we
that down.
debated it back and forth, and I don't know if we ever
I don't
came
think
to
we
a
ever
final
landed on it.
answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that first. So
Yeah.
kind of continuation from our fellowship phase. So this is ordinary. We already cleaned up the shadow and things like that. So you just needed to choose your 2 undertakings. Gather rumors, meet your patron, ponder storied and figured maps, which is one of the things you were debating and discussing, study magical items, and write a song, which is the other thing you were kind of discussing, because you can't both ponder storied and figured maps and write a song, but both have pretty sizable advantages, especially if you're on a long journey. So that was the thing you were debating between. And I think, had you chosen your secondary one?
No, I think it would make sense to study magical items, but we don't know that Runa has this ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can, I mean, look more at the seeing stone.
Yeah,
You can all touch it.
but we know what the seeing stone is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna casually just pull that out in the
I know,
Shire.
I was honestly just kidding.
No.
I just want
mean,
you all to touch it again. It's
I
fine.
know.
legitimately, it's a thing.
I know.
But I certainly wouldn't open the pearl here,
Yes.
right? Like, whatever the hell chased us down the river, like I don't want any of that coming to the Shire.
Right.
Well,
So the difference between, I'm going to read this out loud while you guys are thinking about things. So pondered, storied, and figured maps basically means they're spending time studying maps and tomes and information to help them on their journey. Until the next fellowship phase, you add +1 to all feat die rolls made at the on the journey events table. So which is really helpful. It means that they're more likely to get a higher score, which will mean the event is less stressful. And less terrifying. And writing a song, you can choose what kind of song you're going to write. Now, we sing songs all the time because they love music, but there's a difference between like, oh, we're singing a song and a song as far as the mechanics of a specific song. If you write a specific song, you can compose a lay that gives you a benefit or a buff for councils, a song of victory, which helps in combat, or you can do a walking song, which helps in journeys. So you were all discussing doing a walking song, which is for your journey also. So both pondered and storied and figured maps and writing a walking song have great benefits for journeys.
correct. I have an argument for our freebie still being study magical items,
Okay.
which is that even though we theoretically could all participate in it, it is a freebie specifically for the treasure hunter.
Oh,
Mm.
true.
Oh, that's true.
And if it's something that maybe you doing it detracts from our ability to do the other things, like maybe you're going off on your own or whatever, that would stop us from then doing one of the other freebie ones.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that.
Okay.
Sure, that actually sounds good. Yeah.
I'm down if that makes sense for everybody else.
That makes sense to me.
It's fine.
And then we're just between the two that we've been between this whole time.
Let's stick with the maps.
Okay.
Right.
And remember it this time.
And actually use it.
And
Yeah.
That's helpful. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's
Mhm.
farther than I've ever traveled
Mhm.
Yeah.
in character. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it seems like an area probably most of us have not spent a lot of time in, so it would make the most sense to
Mm.
research.
Mhm.
Like
Makes sense.
out of character. I don't know exactly how they feel, but it never struck me that Rivendell was like a tourist destination, like
No.
that they're real welcoming to lots of people to come hang out.
That whole thing in the movie with the river rising up to kill people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're not going to do that to like random traveler or like farmer guy that goes
No.
out there and is like, oh, my cattle crossed the river. I'm going to go get them. Oh, one
But
of
it
these
is
horses.
called the Hidden Valley of
Yeah.
the Elves.
Mm.
Fair enough. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad you're along with us because,
Yeah.
yeah,
That helps.
we might be able to find our way there.
Maybe. Maybe not with me guiding. All right.
That sounds good.
I'm going to move us to Bree.
Now- Is that +1 on all rolls related to the journey because of the maps? Or just the finding our way part?
On the journey events table.
Okay.
Okay.
So when I'm rolling, or when we're rolling for the events
What happens,
specifically,
yeah.
then you
Okay.
get a +1 on that.
Okay.
So this is after the guy makes the travel roll.
Yes. So you have
Okay.
so you've made your rolls by then. This is more to kind of help figure out like what happens after that.
Oh,
So
here.
it's
I
helpful.
I will produce the map.
And on the journey events table, so for those of you listening and watching at home, the lower the number is on the die, you roll the d12, which is the feat die. The lower the number, those tend to be like bad, and then the higher the number, it's a nice thing. So like 8 to 9, you get a shortcut. A 10, you'd have a chance meeting. That's like a nice thing. And then on a Gandalf rune, you have a joyful sight, like a wonderful thing. So that +1, just like a little help getting away from the bottom, which is terrible misfortune and despair are at the bottom. So
Ooh.
yes. All right. All right, let's do that then. We already have our map drawn out since there's a road.
Yep.
It's a
Yay.
good choice there. And if you notice, if you look very closely at the road, even though there are some like the reddish orange area, which are more dangerous, if you actually look very closely, if you zoom in, the road itself is still the neutral wild color. Just very little, as long as you stay on the road. So be aware of that.
Oh, we're never known to go looking for random things off the road.
What?
Like,
You?
What could possibly go
we're
wrong?
just standing in the middle of the road, terrified, and there's like a horde of trolls right there. We're like, just don't move.
Just don't look at them.
If you don't move towards the side of the road, they can't reach you.
I don't know how that works.
Trolls only see movement.
All right. Then let's go ahead and have that scene at Runa's house. Let's go ahead first. So you have the ring that you found, not the ring,
Not that ring.
lowercase the
A
ring.
ring.
A ring.
Yeah, a ring. Sorry, very specific. I should say that. You have
A1 ring.
a ring
A singular
Yeah.
ring.
that we know is magical and we know has some sort of interesting properties about it. So let's go ahead and figure out what it is. So I'm going to have you roll
Okay.
as soon as I find the packet that has that thing about that. Here we go.
Magic jewel.
Yes. Please roll a success die, a d6 first.
Okay. You.
I shan't speak to them today.
5.
A 5. Okay, so that's going to have. Oh, of course you rolled that one.
Oh,
It's good.
It's well, they
How
each,
delightful.
strong start.
each section does like a thing. Like one helps personality, one helps movement, one helps perception, and you rolled custom. So it's like that's less helpful, but cool. So then go ahead and roll it one more time.
Okay.
Luckily, this whole section can be rings. So
1.
1. So courtesy. So you are going to have something that helps with courtesy.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I've never used that.
As a mechanic or otherwise.
I mean, I've seen you in real life
This is a
sometimes.
question. Runa. Does Runa know what courtesy is?
She has 2 pips in it.
Wow.
Oh, okay. That's quite a lot of pips, actually. Okay. So yeah. So on your, if you're spending the time to study magical items, you don't know exactly what this ring is. It's it's very old. It's not Numenorian or any of their kind of legacy.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to tell. It is very it's very basic. It's kind of bare. It could be Elvish. It might be like very old Dwarvish. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
And there's not a lot of like ornate design on it.
Okay.
I believe I said last time it had a stone that was like a tiger's eye or something that was like a semi-precious stone on
Okay.
it. So it's not like, whoa, look at this. But it's it definitely has some a little bit about it, and you think it helps kind of pull people in certain directions. You think it kind of impresses on
okay.
them, like makes them think better of the wearer.
Got it.
So which is kind of cool, but also a little sinister. Feel it like.
Yeah, it's a little mind controlling.
Yeah, like you're not getting like it's not feeling like a cursed item itself, but the uses of such a ring are a little like, oh, that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you know about it right now.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. All right.
What could possibly go wrong?
Mhm.
Probably fine for me to wear around.
Totally cool.
I mean, it seems like something that's going to come in handy as we meet important people down the road.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes.
I actually look forward to Runa just fully schooling Erland on meeting people.
But like he doesn't know why.
Yeah.
And you get 2D
Ooh.
when you're using.
Wow.
Yeah, when you're wearing your ring and specifically like focusing on using it
Okay.
for courtesy only.
Wow.
Spicy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you should all be getting that same plus 2D when you're using your items that were blessed by the lady. As
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Just
makes me
reminding.
invisible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Amazing. Yes. All right.
For sure, but it's also a bad idea to be like, welcome to Rivendell. I will hit you with my torch.
Well, yes.
I will light this tree city on fire.
That's why we didn't give you a torch of courtesy.
You should be honored to meet me.
Wow, dwarvish customs are very strange.
Some weird massage greeting or something.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
Who's,
Oh.
by the way, who's at your place right now? Who's
Yeah,
at,
is
who's
it
at, yeah.
Mom, Grandma?
I think probably. Well, Kimmy, Grandma's definitely there,
Mhm.
but whether
She was there last time, right?
yeah.
I feel like it's more fun to have her there too.
Okay.
Okay. all right.
So she's been back like a week from one of her like mini adventures, and then so yeah, they're both there with you,
Awesome.
and so we'll say that you came in last night. They're kind enough, and they're traveled adventurers. They know a bunch of questions are not what you want after coming in, and they can actually. You're probably still a little pale even for an elf, Erland. Yeah.
I still have that cane.
Yeah, like
It's staying with me for a little while, I think.
yeah, like you're healed mechanically, but as far as like, there's still people who know you well are like, wow, are you all right? Like, yeah, how are the rest of you feeling? So you've ridden in this cart from Michael Delving. Let's start with you, Sausage. We did you last time.
Oh, sure. No, I feel pretty good, like not having to ride or walk. You know, going on this journey and just being able to kind of enjoy the sights, leading Cheese along every once in a while. And I asked about who's here because I have a handful of trinkets and I passed them out to that we got from
Yeah.
oh good
Mifflin.
lord,
Mifflin,
yes.
yes, from Mifflin. And
How dare you not remember all the very
I
complex
know. I
names.
was like, wait, hold on. The Grey Havens. It wasn't.
Yeah, the Grey
okay.
Havens.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Accurate.
Okay. All right.
Every place
Them
has,
elves live down south.
All elves, elven places have like 2 to 5 names.
Okay. Gotcha.
oh yeah, just
okay.
heads up when we talk about Imlandris,
That's
is
Rivendell.
Rivendell too. It's the
Gotcha.
same
Oh yeah,
place.
I noticed.
Okay.
Actually. All right. Cool,
Sorry, I
cool.
should probably be clearer on that sometimes.
No worries.
Um,
But yeah, I give them to to your mom and your grandma, and I say, well, this is from the seashore, actually. I thought you might appreciate a couple of trinkets if you haven't been there any time recently. Yeah, and I just present them to them, thank them for their hospitality.
Lovely. How are you feeling about leaving the Shire right now?
I mixed. So I feel nervous leaving the Shire because who knows if there are other threats there. But at the same time, I'm really glad to be moving this pearl out of its borders and to hopefully more capable hands.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And as always, I'm always glad to be traveling with my friends.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. Let's do Erlen next.
Erland is finally kind of coming back to himself, I think,
Mhm.
after mostly taking the opportunity to relax and just kind of be prone for most of the time that we spent in Michael Delving. I think that outside of like trying to remember, oh yes, I actually have to know how to fight and like focusing on the craft of being an archer. Outside of that, he pretty much did nothing. and sat there, didn't even read or any of that, just enjoyed everyone's company and was probably a little bit more social and more outwardly grateful for everyone's presence. Because that was close. So I think that while he seems a lot more subdued for someone who's already pretty subdued, he's actually a little more social, a little bit more present between being in Mythland and then being in Michael Delving and hanging out at the Bung Burrow. I think that he's feeling quite himself despite everything.
All right. That makes sense. We'll do you last since we're at your house. So
Fair.
yes, let's go with Hanar.
Well, I think Hannah's happy to be on the move.
Okay.
I think he's been worrying about staying in one place too long, carrying this thing around. I absolutely would warn Runa's family that, like, a very tall, bearded elf may come visit at some point.
Okay.
So just as a heads up, like, I don't know when, but he seemed to be enthusiastic about coming. So just, I can't guarantee that we'll be here since we kind of roam the land, but, he heard about your collection of antiquities and was impressed and thought that it might do him good to go on a little trip.
And I'm sure somewhere in their heirloom would include that he's Lord Kieran, the shipwright of the Grey Havens, and all of the many titles and all of the other things that an extremely
Right, yes.
eager A student would do.
Yes. Just to make sure that they don't accidentally, like, insult one of the most important elves on the planet by being like, no, go away.
Like, I think he would let Hanar do the whole, like, proper friendly warning thing, but then also be like, and he's also the Lord of the Grey Havens, the main shipwright and one of the last and oldest elves in all of Middle-earth.
Yes.
I think specifically, Hanar talks about him like a friend, like just a buddy that I met down in Mythland and he was interested in coming up here. So then, totally.
I love that. It's like the overly, like, but not, like, Kieran behaved like that same way towards you. Very friendly, very chill.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, what do we, no, Lord Kieran, no, what do you, no.
But with no correction, because I think he does understand that
That's
you guys
true,
have such an interesting relationship to the point where I think he's a little fascinated by someone that Kieran treats as a peer.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Interesting. Okay. And Runa.
I think Runa is feeling better than she has in a while. We've defeated those burning beasts, which made me feel a lot better about all those things I saw when I probably shouldn't have touched that Palantir. I'm at my family home, surrounded by my friends, so it's like she feels a little bit back in her element, and a little bit less like weight of the world, doom and gloom, for sure.
Yes. Why don't we start with like at the breakfast table? So we'll say that you did warn them, like maybe when you came in last night, you're still kind of like riding the high of like being able to tell them about this amazing experience.
Sure.
So you kind of told them that the night before. So we'll start with like a breakfast. We always start with like a breakfast. Or
We like food.
We do. Food is important in all Tolkien literature. There's lots of pages on food. So we're going to do breakfast the morning after you've arrived. And so, yes.
Can it be like very salty oatmeal?
I was going to surprise you, but yeah.
The needle tips the other direction.
It's almost like grits, but wrong. Not buttery, it's just salty.
It's just salty, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, this is an explosion of flavor.
It's a flavor.
Oh, man. So you have Valdis, who is your mother, and Ingrid, who is your grandmother. And so Ingrid has made a very big spread for you. And you can definitely smell like, oh, wow, like it's got like it's flavored and you can like see like there's herbs and stuff on it. It's like, what has happened? Amazing. And as you're sitting there, you take that first bite into like everything, and everything is just way oversalted. Like there's not pepper or anything else. There's a little bit of like other herbs, but mostly it seems like she has gone overboard and just found a whole bunch of different colors of salt.
Mm-hmm.
So like everybody who came through who is selling salt, oh, there's black salt and pink salt and this yellow salt and the salt you have and sea salt and mind salt and like every kind of salt there is.
I think at one point, Erlen very like politely trying to show interest in what Ingress is doing. It's like, oh, where did you get the salt? And it's too many places.
Yeah, there's just so much like this long explanation. She's very excited about it. I'm going to liken it to something that's very out of tone, but like if you ask a kid about like playing Pokemon,
Oh, yes.
and then they just like go into this like spew of like all these different weird names and stuff. And I love Pokemon, and I like played like OG back in the day, but now there's just so many, and it's just like a lot, and I'm old and it's harder for me to remember now. But that's what you get. I caught this and this, and I have this place, and I got this in this place, and this in this place, and this in this place, and this is really rare according to the person who sold it to me, and I think it's a good deal. And like it's just like half of it's like probably snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
It's like they've sort of like rubbed like some sort of like coloring on regular salt, and they're like, ooh, magical green salt from the elven towns or whatever. And so you just have a lot of salt. And
Just
a
some guy
very
that
charming.
keeps stealing the shakers from the prancing pony.
Yeah. So it's a very like charming, whimsical, like endearing moment where you're all just like, oh, okay.
Okay.
We kind of asked for this a little. Yes.
I find it delightful.
Okay. Do dwarves have like very like salted food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can
feel
see
like that makes a
Yeah,
lot
that
of
makes
sense.
a lot of sense,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, it also makes sense that dwarves have blood pressure issues. Like they are very ready to be angry about stuff. Like,
All right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna do
See
some.
Hannah checking.
There's a joke somewhere in there about a salt cellar.
Yeah.
Salt cellar, and I'm trying to find it. It's just not coming to me.
No. All right, let's see. I'm actually gonna have you all roll. I can't find my little cheat sheet.
We're gonna roll dice.
Yeah, you're gonna roll. We're gonna
dice.
start rolling dice tonight because we're gonna try and roll it a lot. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna have you all roll. Gosh, I always forget that there's not like a performance skill. It seems like there would
There's
be.
courtesy, or
See, I feel like courtesy is like knowing what to do a little bit. But yeah, we'll do courtesy. Like, why don't you roll courtesy? Get to use your new thing. To put on a brave face with this food.
Yeah, I was
seems
beginning to
courteous,
wonder if we were gonna
Yeah.
like make constitution like checks to withstand the saltiness.
wow, this is really confusing every time it happens. But
Mm-hmm.
that is, oh no, it's not. Okay.
Yeah, the eye is not a failure.
Well, no,
Oh.
it's that I just make it because it was a 7 or a 1, and I
Uh-huh.
thought it was a 1, and it's a 7.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
I make it with 1 Tangor though.
Oh, nice. Okay. You are amazing. Like, like cool as a cucumber.
Everyone loves
Amazing.
Ingress. It's
Yeah.
not hard.
You'd get through anything for this one.
Yeah.
I crushed it because I have 4 dice in courtesy now.
Yes, you do.
And I got a Tengwar.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Wow. Like, your grandmother is so impressed by,
Uh oh.
oh, being with the elves. Like, really, like, her manners are so nice. Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious, is there any kind of
Mm-hmm.
noticeable weirdness or anything to it?
Oh.
I don't think Ingrid would notice.
Yeah,
But I think
as
the
a
rest
not
of you-
targeted person of the the attempt.
I think because you've seen interactions between them so much. Like, if it was a stranger, maybe not.
Okay.
But because you've seen Ingrid and her granddaughter so many times, and she's a great grandmother, but she's a grandmother still. So she's like, put your shoulders, honey. Come on, just like a little bit, like little things. Oh, you're so amazing. Did you keep your head down while you were climbing that tower last time? Like, those sort of things. Like, suddenly Ingrid is very, like, kind of, not, like kind of deferring to Runa in a way that's a little different. Like, oh, your manners are so lovely, and just a little bit like, oh, okay, just a little, like, she's never rude to Runa. I don't want to give that impression.
No.
But there's just
No,
kind of
gotta
that,
make
like,
her better.
mentoring,
Yeah,
kind of matronly, like, a little bit, like, straighten up a little. Okay. And that is gone, I mean, for this moment.
The power balance is just a little bit like.
Oof, yeah.
We've grown in our travels. Of course she
Yeah.
would start deferring to you.
Obviously.
Yeah. So and that's probably what Ingrid thinks too. I mean, you've been with the elves. Like, obviously, your manners and your courtesy have improved. And this is somewhere that I would say that maybe Ingrid or Valdis may have gone to the Grey Havens like a little bit, but they probably have never spent a lot of time there.
Mhm.
They probably have gone by and seen it, but not actually entered the city, and definitely not like traded and bought things from the elves or things like that, because that's not really what they're after. They're treasure hunters. So while they might go by and they like, or they might have gone like into the city for just a moment to buy something or like supplies and then head back out on their travels. They also probably wouldn't head that direction very often because all the people still live there. There's not a lot of like abandoned treasure and a place people have lived for a really, really, really long time. So
and whatever is abandoned there is still well protected by the people that remain.
yeah, it's
Like-
theirs. Yeah.
Yeah, like Erlen just leaves his house.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right.
But like the elves that are still in town regularly would frown upon random people rummaging through empty houses
Exactly.
and taking
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not like abandoned treasures that are like
Yeah.
in, crypts and things like that, which
Yeah.
is more what your family kind of looks for.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they find that very fascinating, and the fact that you got welcomed in to this kind of mythical place is impressive. Or maybe it's your brain. Who knows?
Maybe I'm just impressed.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. Yeah. Jay, what did you?
It was a success for me.
Okay.
Yeah, straightforward
So-
success. Yeah.
okay.
So I'm kind of quiet throughout the meal, and I'm eating the food, and I'm kind of like looking at it like, oh, this is quite the meal. But really, in reality, the salt is just drying me out so much that I can't talk. It's like,
Okay.
that's quite.
Every bite is torture.
It's just yeah. But I do love your mother and your grandmother, and I am not going to show them any kind of disrespect at all.
Oh, that's so kind. All right.
And 100% I failed.
Okay.
Yes.
We weren't getting out of this, but
No. All right. I kind of assumed since you're like, oh, I think dwarves like salty food, I kind of just assumed. Nope.
I think maybe I went the other direction and I'm just like,
Oh no.
jamming on the food. Like
Uh-huh.
I haven't eaten this well in ages. Oh, just, yeah. In a way that's like off-putting.
Okay.
You know? Like if you see somebody that's really enjoying a meal too enthusiastically and
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, that's, oh, no.
Yeah.
They're like reaching for plates, and you don't even notice. You just
Like,
pull the plate away from them. or something.
Specifically when I was a kid, I remember being in a diner
hmm
and a gentleman at the table next to us ordered eggs over easy, and he just scooped up the whole egg on a fork and went, oh, and just
No.
gulped,
And just
like,
dumped it into his mouth?
yeah, and didn't
Oh.
chew, just swallowed
No,
Like-
that
like
man's
a thing, and it
No.
freaked me out. And I was like,
That is
that man's trying to choke
That's-
himself. Like,
That's one of
Yeah.
the aliens from Men in Black.
Yeah. Accurate. Yes.
so, but
Ooh.
it was a very specific memory, and I think that's kind of the way Hannah is eating. Like,
Okay.
he's just like, oh,
Yeah. All right. So,
stuff all in the beard. Yeah, just gross.
Oh,
yeah. So
buddy.
Ingrid
Yeah.
is sitting there, and like she's trying to be polite, but she's not used to trying to be polite. So, are you sure all of you went to visit the elves?
Of course, it was wonderful.
It was a very long trip.
Yes. It must be hungry. All right. Slow down. You're going to choke. Kennar, I know you have better manners than that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's delicious. I
We're just
haven't
trying
eaten
to,
as
like,
well in ages.
gesture at you
It
like
was
in the beard.
like
Beard.
You've got it.
Got a
Yeah.
little.
it's like a whole egg.
Yeah.
Like you're stuck in one of your brains,
Yeah.
just like living there now.
It's cradled in
Yeah.
a braid.
All right. So, is there anything anyone wants to bring up during this meal? So you're doing the basic, like, we don't have to recount because I want to make sure we have enough time to get on our journey.
Yeah.
But like you basically like, okay, you told her about what it was like in the city. You got to go on a ship ride. That's very exciting. Like anything specifically about anything.
I think I would bring up the battle with the burned beasts.
Oh, okay.
But like that's something they would be interested in, and
Yeah.
Runa's really proud of them, like making it through that and like conquering it. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you been back here since your sword was blessed? Have we?
Yes.
Okay, we
yeah.
did. Okay, so they're already aware of your blessed. Well, I don't know. I feel like they definitely noticed your sword at least, the changes on your sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and we're gonna bring up like cursed bird cages or
Palantir.
magical rings or seeing stones or
Specifically not.
okay,
I mean, if somebody else does, okay, but
Not at
Yeah.
breakfast.
okay, okay,
The birdcage is going into the archive. I'm not gonna carry that around for the rest of the game.
okay.
It's not cursed anymore anyway, probably.
Maybe.
We took care of that problem. Well, you took care of that problem.
But I am gonna ask her like aside about the letter I sent about what to do with a very powerful and probably cursed item.
Okay, so we'll finish up breakfast. Maybe I don't know if all of you wanted to head to the Prancing Pony for some water.
I think Erlen goes to the well and draws up some water.
Okay, something to quench your thirst after all that salt.
I think
Yeah.
I'd probably like retire back to the room and pen a letter myself.
Okay. So there's going to become, like, at some point, you're all kind of meandering about, and where you get a moment alone with your mother or your grandmother or both.
Probably grandmother.
Okay, that's good, because then I don't have to role play with myself. So
Yeah.
thank you for picking one. So Ingrid is sitting with you, and so there are most grandmothers, like, knits and things like that. She, like, bends and makes chainmail. So she just sits with, like, her little pliers and does this. And she, like, like on her thing.
It's me as an old lady.
Same. It's super like
It's so relaxing.
It's so relaxing. It's my favorite. I was just like when I was doing my big Barda cosplay, I just like out like days and weeks of it, and I was just like, this is the best.
Just put on a show.
Yeah,
Knit your
right?
metal.
Yeah.
It's great.
But so she's sitting there like making her chainmail. So what is it that you have? Oh, I have to do my old voice. Right? What is it that you want to tell me? I can tell you're holding something back.
Did you get my letter that I sent?
I did. I was wondering what exactly you were referring to.
Well, I'd like your advice maybe before I tell you what it is.
That is very strange.
It is very strange.
She actually stops and like puts down her chain mailing. So I'm giving you advice before I know what I'm giving advice about.
Yes.
How much elven wine did you drink?
Almost none.
Oh, right. All right. Well, then I will do my best. So, remind me what you said.
Oh, I asked her what to do with a very valuable and dangerous, possibly cursed item.
Well, my first...
Something that was precious.
Precious, that's right. I was like, there was a special... Yeah. Well, my first thought would be to make it not cursed anymore. If you can break the curse on it, that's the best thing to do. And then get it appraised. I mean, and then if it's worth too much, then, you know, maybe, possibly, you can sell it, or we can keep it in the archive here.
What if it's worth so much that very dangerous groups of possibly not people would come after it if they knew you had it?
Possibly not people? You mean like elves and dwarves?
Or things.
Wow.
Sorry, I was meaning like humans. Like she was trying to like. Sorry,
I think you went down, but also.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, my brain was thinking like humans, so I apologize. Like
Not just not humans, like, not people.
So, monsters? What
Big
monsters
ones.
are smart enough to come after an item once you've gotten out of their scent range?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Well, that is a conundrum. Is it possible to make it not cursed anymore?
No.
So if you have a permanently cursed item that is being tracked that is worth a great sum of money, well, now my advice is to sell it as quickly as possible.
Get rid of it. Okay.
Well, if it's worth a lot, then perhaps if it's such a cursed, terrible thing, at least we should make some good come of it.
That is kind of what I thought. Get it into the best hands possible, at least.
Yes, why did you not leave it with the elves when you were at the Grey Havens?
They already have one.
They already have one.
We've already got one.
We've already got one.
Can't have a curse item.
Okay, I don't know.
It's very nice.
Okay, maybe you can help me with this. How like is it common knowledge that the Palantir is in that Kierden has a Palantir?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so.
I think
either.
most people who keep them pretty secret, but if you know what you're looking for,
Yeah.
which maybe Ingrid does, people with high towers tend to be the ones that own Palantirs. There's a
That's
theme.
accurate. Yeah. I'm gonna roll a d6. Roll high. She knows what that is. Nope, it's a 1.
Oh, she's doing her most, okay?
Yeah, she's doing it. I mean, it's also like way out of her wheelhouse. It's
Yeah.
not something she's interested in. Like, while she's interested in like old lore in some ways, it's more about like human lore, and that's something that's way in the realm of like weird magical stuff that is a
Also,
little
like
bit
being
too weird.
interested in the telephone and the conversation that was had.
Yeah, kind of. So she does not know about the Palantir that Kierden has. So they already have one. Well, I guess then you should see if maybe the dwarves or the elves, maybe they'll bid on it. I mean, both would probably be able to keep it very safe. Didn't those? I heard something about a bunch of dwarves like defeating a dragon recently.
Oh.
If they can do that, I mean, it seems like they could probably keep whatever it is you have safe.
That does seem like a good option.
Given the lead of that fight, not so much.
My companions and I were considering taking it to the elves next.
Ah,
I had originally thought maybe we should keep it here, but I don't want to put anyone here in danger.
well, I mean, might I see it?
I don't think that's a good idea.
She looks very annoyed at that. Young lady, I was hunting treasure since long before you or your mother were born. I know how to take care of myself, and I know how to treat dangerous magical objects.
And you've taught me well, and I know that as well. But I touched it, and it was a very harrowing experience.
That, like, changes her demeanor. Like, the fact that her granddaughter was, like, harmed by this thing, that she stops worrying about her kind of, like, curiosity. And, like, she gets next to you, she, like, puts down her thing, comes next to you and, like, touches you and like, are you all right?
I'm okay. But I don't want what I saw to be something that you experience.
Very well. You have had the best training available.
That is true.
She kind of grins at you. Your friends are taking good care of you.
Of course. And I take good care of them.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, the only reason I would allow you to continue in this endeavor is because I like them very much. Don't tell them that.
I won't. I'm sure they're completely unaware.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure they know because I do such a great job cooking for them all the time. But I don't want them getting big heads about it. But
We'll make sure they're very humble.
yes, do take care of yourself, my girl. She, like, takes your hands. Your mother and I have been very lucky. And I hope you have the same luck as well. Can't help but worrying, even though I know how capable you are.
I know. But I have the best advice and upbringing I could possibly have hoped for, and the best companions. It will be all right.
It's a good combination. She kind of does like the under the chin, like
Mhm.
little thing. All right, well. Enough of this, and unless you need more advice about things I'm not allowed to know about.
No, but I do want to show you this cursed bird cage.
Oh. So, like, she looks at it, and she does actually know about this, and she gives you the same information you got from, like, 3 people already, that it's from, like, this prince, you know, his giant hoard that's rumored to be lost up in the mountains somewhere or something like that.
And this one I'm going to leave in the archive,
Okay.
and, like, you know, she can help me log it in, and, like...
So it's from King Arvin Dewey's giant hoard, and he was the king of Arthedi, which is one of the kingdoms that Arnor originally. Sorry, I got away from the thing. That Arnor originally was broken to multiple kingdoms after generations, and having more than one child when you're a king ends up making that happen a lot. So yeah, there you go.
Cool. Yeah, it's pretty
And she
cool
thinks
entry
it's
for...
and she loves your
art.
story about that, like the creepy like nobleman who's like, it's too late, and then all right, awesome. Other scenes that we want to have before we go?
I would fold up the letter and the necklace that I got from the elves and send it back home
Okay,
Oh yeah.
before we head any farther away.
okay, absolutely. And you're sending that to the lady who helped
Gail
you,
Sharpstone?
Yes. Very good.
I think Erlen just spends the rest of the time finishing those books, the journals and things that he was binding.
Perfect. All right, very good. Then we will bid Bree a fond farewell. Moving on to new adventures, journeying, and less salt.
A reasonable amount of salt.
Reasonable.
There you go.
Yes.
Rehydrating before
Yes.
we leave.
Yeah.
Lots.
Lots of well water.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so looking at our journey map, we are going to be traveling along that road. Sorry, I keep leaning away from
The
the
Great East Road.
Great East Road on our way to Ibladris / Rivendell. All right, so everyone needs to pick their chosen role. Once again, you can be the scout, lookout, hunter, or our guide. We generally have stuff. We've done this enough times now. We kind of have like set roles, but let's say it out loud
Yeah.
anyway.
Hunter.
Hunter, okay.
I have not been guiding well.
Okay, why don't
Historically, that doesn't go well.
why don't I take guide then?
Okay.
Pretty decent one. But...
I am good at.
If you have awareness, that would be wise.
I have a lot of awareness.
That's great. So I will take Scout.
Okay.
fantastic.
Perfect. All right, then let's have our guide roll travel.
Okay. Oh boy, so not great.
Uh-oh.
We're on a road though, so make sure you.
Extra
Roll an
success
extra,
die, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna run the rest of the way too.
Oh boy. That is only a 10 out of 11. So
All right, so we are 2 hexes away.
Okay.
So we move. Yes. And I'm gonna have you, since you were our guide, I'm gonna have you roll a d6, please, for me.
Okay. 1.
A 1. Okay, that means it's the scout.
Aha!
So scout, please roll for me a feat die. You're gonna add
Okay.
+1.
And this is
But
the
now
new
I
one.
get the new thing.
Yeah, you get a
Because
+1.
you and I
to
have
it.
the same thing.
Well, no, I took the Elven Memories of
okay.
Ancient Times, so I get to roll 2.
Okay, so you also add +1 to whichever one you end up choosing, because
Right.
that's from our thing you
Map
just got in your
lore,
fellowship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Rock on.
Oh no.
I mean, it's not great, but I got a 5.
A 5. Cool.
It's better than a 3.
It
one way or
is.
the other.
Yeah, much better than a 1 or, the eye. So a 5 is a mishap. So you all take 2 fatigue.
Did we rest off all of our fatigue?
Yes.
You
We
did.
did,
Okay.
yeah.
So all the fatigue is back to
For
The
5
beginning.
seconds, I was not fatigued.
yes. Woo. Well, technically, like your whole time in break. So it's like hypothetically.
I spent it injured, so
Yes. True. Okay. All right. So a mishap. So describe what mishap happens just as you're starting to head out. I feel like there's. I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to think of something that isn't good, but we're also super close to town still.
Yeah.
I mean, plenty of things happen in Brie that aren't savory.
Mhm.
Sure. Yeah, let's maybe there's some not so up and up individuals that don't necessarily like Runa's family,
Okay.
and they've seen us there a lot of
Oh.
times. And so maybe they have decided to waylay us in some way.
Okay. So I'm gonna have you roll. You're the scout, so please roll explore for me.
Okay.
This is my new order of doing this because I feel like it's a little bit more narrative and more interesting.
Okay. And we're on a road, so I still get an extra
Yes.
die, right? Okay. Oh, had one escape,
Behind.
but I'll take it. I totally made it, but nothing extraordinary or bad.
Okay.
So
So that's good because that means we don't gain an extra day to the journey or
great.
an extra fatigue for you. So, yeah, we'll just say that there's a mishap that was avoided narrowly.
Yeah, like maybe they cut a tree and left it over the road to be in the
There you
way
go.
to slow us down so they could try and ambush us, but I managed to be like, oh, hey, there's a tree down over there. Let's just go slightly around.
Okay, I like that.
At a time.
Nice, very good. All right, let's go ahead and do this again. Same rolls for everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Does anybody mind if I burn a fellowship point on this roll?
Go
No.
for it.
Okay, thank you. This increases our chances of getting a better roll here. Let's see. Well, that was... Oh, I got an I, but you know what? That's still a success. I got 15 out of 11 with a Tangwar.
Okay,
Whoa.
so that means we get to go 4 hexes.
Great.
So we get 3 for the success and plus 1 more for the tanguar. And then if you will roll a d6 for me, Jay.
Oh, 6.
A 6, very good. So that means it is our hunter.
That's me.
Hey,
Yes.
all right.
So Runa, if you will roll a feat die for our journey
Okay.
event table. And don't forget, you get to add 1 to whatever your result is.
Okay. 3.
Okay, is that the feat die?
Oh wait.
Yeah, not a success
D6.
die. Yeah,
Okay.
the d12.
I don't know which one's which.
That's fine.
You gotta say the number.
Yeah, that's right.
7.
A 7 plus 1.
That's including
with
the
the-
one.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so another mishap, possibly. So go ahead and roll hunting for me, please.
Okay. And I roll favored for hunting.
Mhm.
Oh.
Is that a good or a bad?
That's a bad.
Oh, no.
I didn't make it.
Okay.
I didn't get any bad things, but I didn't make it.
Okay. So you take 1 additional fatigue. So everyone takes 2. Bruna, you take 3.
Okay.
And we also have 1 additional day to the journey.
Sorry, guys.
So just to ease how this works, let's just go ahead and move our dot back 1 hex. I feel like that's easier than like remembering at the end to add 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Perfect.
Oh wait, was I supposed to get an extra die for being on the road?
Yes.
An extra d6.
The
Yeah.
extra d6.
Would that have made a difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wait, let's see. Do it.
No.
Nope.
Still missed if I won.
Okay, the
I
dice are
got
like
3 1s
Yeah.
on that roll.
Brutal.
Wow.
My dice are like.
Your feet die were like, yeah.
Screw you.
The rest of your dice, no.
we said what we said is what they
Mean.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
Okay.
Let's talk about our mishap real
Oh,
quick.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're out hunting And I'm going to say that you you're going to have a moment where you think you see some sort of very large bat kind of figured like up in the trees above you.
Oh.
So maybe you, if it's okay with you, maybe you are like, oh, that's not good. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So you head back. There's not any food for that night.
Oh.
And it's like kind of just a little bit of a moment. So you're all a little bit on edge too. So you're all like watching.
Yeah.
So there's no other signs of the thing that was following you a number of sessions ago now.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're just like a little bit on edge now.
Okay.
And maybe you saw something and maybe you didn't.
Damn, Batman.
Always
Sorry.
ruining things in
Could be a man
Middle
with a
Earth.
bat.
yes.
Man bat.
In this world?
Sure. So many
That's
things.
true. A lot more likely it's a man bat. Yeah. Okay, next day. Or
Next.
next segment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm burning a hope point.
Okay.
And here we go. Okay, let's see. 10. I'm certainly going to make that. It is just a regular roll success.
Okay. So that is 3 hexes. So that is representing 3 days of travel. And if you'll roll a d6 for me.
Okay. 5.
A 5. All right, so that is our hunter again.
Okay.
Oh,
So if you'll roll the d12, please.
Thank you.
And you will add 1.
2.
2. All
Dave,
right.
can you do something other than ones, please?
Rough.
That's really rough. Wow. Okay.
Maybe we should change it up tomorrow. Jeez.
All right. Then please roll a hunting for me.
Okay.
I love how you're like afraid to touch your dice. You're like, I don't know.
I'm trying to pick which ones are mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I get an extra one.
That's their
forget.
secret. They're all mad.
No.
always
Okay. They said they're not mad now.
Okay.
So I made it with a Tangwar.
Okay.
Nice.
Whew, that's good. So we're gonna say you're out hunting again a few days later, and you actually like very clearly get like a glance at like something. I don't want to give the impression so much of like vampires, but like you know how vampires like pull like bats too like pull their wings in about them,
Oh.
like and like kind of shroud themselves in it like someone like a cape or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you get you're out hunting, and you maybe only because don't you have extra like notice?
I do. My sword gives me plus 2d to
Okay.
awareness.
We're gonna say it's only because of this bonus awareness you have from the Lady of Anuminous. But you're going through and you're hunting like normal, and you kind of look to the side, and there's like this outcropping of rocks that has like not quite a cave, but like there's an overhang, so there's some shelter there, and you see like something in the dark, like that looks like it's got like things wrapped around it. It's definitely not like it's humanoid, but not human or elf or dwarf or hobbit. And it's you can't really quite make out what it is, and it does not think you can see it. It is only because of the blessing of the lady that it's watching you, and you know it's kind of like stalking or following you, but it does not think that you saw it.
Okay. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not great.
No.
Definitely gonna tell everybody about that thing.
Yes. Oh, one thing I do want to retcon something real quick. Can we say that Ranier stayed in Bree?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think that's
probably.
yeah. I don't think Ranier or he would probably not go with you to Rivendell, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like for reasons. So he was like very clearly like wanting to stay and chill out with your grandmother. And,
I bet Ingrid is delighted.
Oh, so delighted. And so is Ranier. Ranier is getting so much salty food and he does not care. But you may have like if you paid attention, you might have noticed that like Ranier was not going to go to Rivendell with you. Like it wasn't really an option. It was just like, hey, no.
Staying here now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like and like when you're like, do you want to go to Rivendell? Like doggy, no.
It just puts his head back down.
Yeah.
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 It's like, oh, that's nice for you.
Yeah, it's like that little like, huh, and then puts his head down. Like, no.
Fenris does that. My mom will watch him sometimes when I'm on the East Coast, and he's not a morning dog, and she is a morning person, and she'll be like, "Do you want to go outside?" And he like picks his head up, and puts it back down.
Yeah. That's like exactly like the disdain
Absolutely
for
not.
going to Rivendell is very palpable on this dog. So yeah, anyway, just because I was like suddenly like, I feel that would become a dicey
Yeah.
situation there.
Okay.
But yes, neither Ranyar nor your patron would go to Rivendell. So
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so you have this and this thing. And we're gonna say it's if you had failed the roll, you would have gotten 1 shadow point. So everyone is taking 2 fatigue for this
Okay.
event though.
All right. And she would definitely tell everybody over dinner about this thing with wings, question mark, that I saw. Was it upside down or was it right side up?
Right side up.
Okay.
And it was kind of like crouching.
Oh.
It was a little bit. It was like wrapped itself and like hunched down a little bit. You don't know if it's that size. You don't know if it is built in a way where it has to like maybe sit or like a dog or something, or if it was like trying to like make itself smaller to hide itself. So it's,
Okay.
you couldn't quite get a proportion on it because it's a weird looking thing.
Yeah. Creepy.
I
Yeah.
don't like that.
All right. Next.
Okay. Yeah. Should I continue to
Do we
guide, or
wanna-
do you want to
Do
switch
we want
it
to
up?
change stuff around?
Yeah, we can switch it up. If you want to guide, I'll take lookout.
I can try and guide. Let's go. It's not a travel section if I don't try.
Accurate.
Does it go well?
We're-
No.
We're kind of at an important turn here. If we go wrong, we go off into the danger zone.
That is accurate. The grin on your
No
face.
pressure.
guy.
Hey, it's a good thing we roll favored. I actually succeeded.
Hey.
It's a miracle. Yeah, we do it. I succeeded very well.
Excellent. All right. And did you get any tanguars?
No,
Okay.
just a straight success. We're not gonna push it.
Okay. Yeah. So we go 3 hexes, and we get to stay on our nice little road. And if you will please roll a d6 for me. Oh,
There we
you
go. D6 or D12?
D6 for the first thing.
Okay. 3.
A 3, that means it's our lookout.
Okay.
So if you'll roll a d12 for me,
Yeah, let's go.
just a d12.
Yeah, and with a +1, right?
No,
Oh,
not
this
for
is
Wait,
no
am
plus
I
one,
rolling
yeah,
the-
yes.
Am I rolling the D12? Because you were rolling. No, wait, I have it backwards. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just add a +1.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah. So you
That's a 3.
with the +1.
Yes.
Right.
Big money.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
All right. Then please roll awareness for me.
Okay.
Lookout.
Let's see. Well, and I get the +1 success.
Because we're on a
bonus,
road.
right?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty good. So let's see. 6, 11. It is a great success.
Oh, okay. Any tanguars?
1 tank ward.
1 tanguar.
Yeah,
Okay.
great success.
All right, that's good. So you're all going to take 2 fatigue. You do not have to take any shadow points. Congratulations, sausage.
Yay.
But you also, like at one point while you're looking out, you like see this thing too.
Okay.
For you, I'm gonna say you're like walking a little bit ahead on the road as the lookout, and you see it like way up ahead,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like almost so far away you might think it's a person wearing like a cape or something, and then it kind of turns and you see like we'll say it's like at dusk, and it's kind of got these like large eyes that are just a little bit reflective. So it's like when like a cat looks at light or something, or you take a photograph and you've got like that like reflection.
Mm-hmm.
The midnight mass eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it like turns away, and then it like either jumps or flies like up and over and then into the trees.
Okay. I let everybody know that.
Mhm.
And I say, was this on the road?
It was like
standing on the road.
it was not. It was like off to the
Okay.
side of the road, but way, way far up ahead. You don't know if it knows. Like it was so far away that you're not sure it knows that you saw it.
Okay, I'm going to say, as we travel on the road, let's keep onto this side and away from those trees on that other side. And yeah, I'll lead everybody through, maybe a little slowly, a little more slowly, a little more aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep an eye out.
As we're traveling, Ireland starts to become a little bit tired. We are getting to the edge of my endurance.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
All right. So next day, who is our guide?
Carolyn,
do
you
it,
want to?
yeah.
Yeah, go
Well,
for
let's
it. Go for
go.
it.
Hey, that is a Gandalf rune, so
Oh,
I definitely succeed,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing else to write home about.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Gandalf rune is amazing, so I'm going to give you a +1, like a Tangor was there too. So you get a success, so it's 4 hexes.
Nice.
Ooh, almost there.
So yeah, that's very exciting. And then, Ireland, if you will roll a d6
Of course.
to see who is our event target.
5.
5.
Back to you.
Hunter
That's
again.
me.
All right, please roll a d12
Okay.
to find out what events you're rolling to avoid.
For a while.
8.
Oh, good. Okay, and then is that with the +1?
No, 9.
Okay.
Mm.
So you find, well, you have to roll success first, hopefully. So roll hunting,
Okay.
please.
Right.
And you can spend a hope if you want, because it's a really good thing. If you get it,
You know what? I will spend a hope.
if the roll succeeds, you reduce the length of the journey by 1 day.
Oh.
That's awesome.
So,
Or do you want to burn another fellowship point on that instead of spending your hope?
I'm
Sure.
for that.
Yeah, I could use a
Yeah.
fellowship
Yeah,
point for
so
that.
well, the fellowship, you can re.
You can
Oh,
reimburse
sure,
Yeah.
your
sure.
hope.
So you have to
Okay.
burn a hope, but then you use a fellowship
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like.
There we
To
go. Yeah.
replenish
Well,
it.
It's a little circular,
it'll
but
be all the same.
yeah, it's the same. I just want to be clear that like we know how the rules go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh.
I got the 11.
Oh, that just counts as a 1.
That just counts as a 1?
Yeah, that's
okay.
not a automatic
Oh, okay.
failure. I know
Um,
it feels like it should be with the Gandalf rune being the success, but yeah,
Yeah.
it only means it's just a 1.
okay. So I can't do math. Oh no.
It's okay.
13.
13. Yeah. I missed it by 1. I do not succeed.
No, you do not
Hmm.
succeed. Okay. Well, that's all
Sorry,
right.
guys.
You all get 1 fatigue.
Ooh.
Nothing bad happens. You just don't find a shortcut.
Wah, wah.
But we're very
Guys, why are you
close.
so mad?
I will make it. Barely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
I think, like, specifically tonight, I'm like, so I've heard this river's a problem.
Oh, only to enemies of the people of Imladris.
That's great.
And if I'm honest, I don't know the incantation or anything to do with the magics surrounding it.
Oh, it's like an active thing.
Yes, it
Okay.
was wrought by people that are not of my direct kinship.
Well, that's fine. My concern was that the river thought for itself.
I don't think so.
Okay. That's
I mean,
less
to some
concerning.
degree, most water in the world has a bit of a thought behind it.
That's even more concerning. Like,
Don't worry, all water things.
he glances down at his canteen, like, worriedly. Like, all right. But, okay.
So what's going to happen at this point? It was going to happen next, but because this is such a perfect moment, so to find Rivendell, like because of this enchantment, there's actually an enchantment on the whole area to try and keep people from finding it unless you have a proper guide who knows the way, which you do not, sorry, or if you've actually had an invitation from Elrond,
Oops.
which you don't. So for all Kieran maybe have sent word, but you're not sure.
Hmm.
I'm praying no one's come to meet you, so you know. So as the company nears the valley, a scout must make a scan roll to find the Whitestone path. If the scout is an elf, the roll gets plus 1d. If they've never been to Rivendell before, the roll loses 1d instead. So that kind of defeats the purpose there. Have you ever been to Rivendell?
I think Ireland has.
That makes sense. Like it seems like you could have.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know that he would have like knowingly sought out any kind of puzzle or anything. I think he would only go if it was like, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
And not like I must make a journey to Rivendell
Yeah. I feel
planning.
yeah. Yeah. We'll say that you've been. That makes
Maybe
sense.
with
to me.
in the company of others.
Yeah, and it seems like elven children are so rare. It seems like you would kind of be like, these are your family. Like you probably have been taken at some point, even if it's like not like super close relatives. Like most elves that are still in Middle Earth are somehow
Kind of
related to each other.
Yeah.
So it feels like the event of a birth would be such a big deal that you probably at some point in your first, few hundred years while you were still a little wee baron, would be like taken
Sure.
there at some point. We'll say that. So you have very vague memories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's that kid before they learn how to drive. Trying
Yeah.
to remember how to get places. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of like that first time you went to like an amusement park or Disneyland or something, and
Exactly.
you have very, very clear memories of like very specific things, and the rest is like, that's there.
That's
I have
there.
no idea.
I had no idea. I ate food when I was there.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
weird.
So
Right.
that type of thing. So we'll say that you don't lose 1d. The scout can also make 2 rolls each day, and each set of failures represents a day spent searching among the gullies and ravines. So this is not something that you have like one shot at, but you are going to have to take like multiple days. And we are going to say that you can't just stay along the road and have
We have to
like,
start
you're going to have to kind
scout
of
around.
scout a bit into the dangerous red brown area.
Just as a proposal, can I get the I've been here before bonus?
Oh.
No,
Okay,
because you looked to the west.
fair enough.
So you have lots of very distinct memories of things at Valinor, and actually long before Rivendell existed.
Okay,
So yeah,
cool.
but that's a good call. Like it's a good try. I
Right.
applaud that.
I actually had no.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's fine.
Out of character. I have no idea how long this has
Rivendell
been
is
here.
one of the newest elven settlements in Middle Earth.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Um,
Elrond's like a real estate developer.
Kinda,
a
yeah.
little, yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah. So and also you didn't look this direction. So even the older settlements or the things that have like a lot older history that may have been here at the same time the trees were in Valinor, you're not going to have knowledge of that because you did look to the west, which is why you didn't get shadow points.
Check.
So
All right. Let's see. Luckily, I'm good at scanning.
wait, you don't have to. It could be anybody.
I thought you said the scout.
Yeah, you said the scout.
You can choose. This is like a new thing. This is like
Okay.
so you
Oh,
can
I see.
choose. Yeah, this is like a separate role.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm gonna call it that way. There's not like specific directions, but I feel like, I guess it says the scout.
Yeah. We can change tomorrow.
Yeah, I still feel like that. I feel like this needs to be a role outside of the normal journeying table
Fair enough.
because this is what's going to give you the.
Because scan isn't the scout role.
Yeah,
anyway,
it doesn't
but-
make sense. Yeah.
That's fair.
But I will put to the group that I am fairly good at scanning. I've got 3 dice in it. So
Mm.
Nice.
Sure, go for it. I've only got 2.
I've got 2 and favored.
I only
But-
vaguely recall being here. I could try. It might not go well. Why don't you try?
okay. I'm gonna look for it.
Find those elves.
I missed it, but I got a Tengwar. I didn't find it very well.
You we'll say
It would have been fine if not 2 of my dice come up 1.
Mm.
yeah.
Jeez.
You cannot. You do not get into the valley. You notice a pathway that looks like something in part of your vision, like it has kind of the same style as something you saw. So you can get a little bit farther. So I'll let you move 1 hex closer, but you are not in Rivendell. Does that make sense?
Sure.
You're like on the hexes surrounding Rivendell.
We're looking down, and the cliffs is actually where it is, and we're looking down at the water below. We're doing real good.
Yeah. So and it's still hidden, so you're not able to see the things, but
Sure.
yeah. But you are a little bit closer because of your Tanguar. Not a success, but a cool thing. All right. So I'm also going to have you, you're going to have to leave the road to find your way here. So you can decide whether you'd like to go north or south.
I just put us to the south, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you're not on the road, that's fine.
No, we're not on the road
Okay.
anymore.
So you will now be, I'm going to have you roll a journey. We won't roll travel, like the actual travel, but I am going to have you roll on the event targets. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So, one of you roll a d6, please. Anybody? Not, yeah.
2.
2. All right. So it's going to be the scout.
Aha! I'm not giving up.
No. So you need to roll a d12 first. So you're going to roll just to see what's happening in this hex. You still get a +1.
And my other bonus.
Yes.
So I got a 10.
A 10.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So you have a chance meeting if you succeed.
Ooh.
So that could
There we
be
go.
someone who will be your
Yeah,
guide.
that'd be really
yeah.
helpful.
So please roll explore for us.
It's not. It's just some random guy.
Hey, would you like to buy some?
Yeah, I've been
Miles?
out. I have pelts. Are you looking for? It's gonna be winter soon. You might want extra furs.
I've got pink salt.
It's the front of you. It's you.
Sold a whole bunch to Lady and Bree.
Yeah.
I come out here to replenish my supply.
Yeah.
Famous elvish tree salt. All right. Yes.
All right.
Yay!
Gandalf plus,
All
wow.
right.
Yeah.
but no Tangwar.
Okay, that's all right. All right, so on your chance meeting, the roll succeeds. Fatigue gained is 0.
Hey.
And we're going to say that you were making camp for the night. How about, is it okay if you were singing?
Oh,
Sure.
always.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Kind of our jam.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that everyone roll awareness for me.
Hey. 2 Tangwar.
Whoa.
Very good.
I definitely succeed.
Okay. So those of you who succeeded, you're sitting and singing, and you suddenly feel like you know you're being watched. It doesn't feel malevolent in any way, and you probably can guess that the elves of this area probably are keeping watch on the area around their like very private, very sacred city. So what do you do? Is it just Erland who succeeded?
No,
I-
I
okay.
succeeded.
I failed.
Okay.
I also failed.
Okay.
Oh.
So the two of you, Erland and Runa, know that you're being watched.
So I think as we're singing, Runa does this thing I like to do when I'm in the car driving, where she changes the lyrics to whatever song they're singing, and instead of the normal lyrics, she like very quietly to Erland sings, "Something's watching us."
I think when the song we're singing kind of comes to its natural conclusion, Erland immediately, before we can like sit and discuss what the next song we're gonna sing is, Erland immediately starts in with an elven song
Okay.
to just kind of be like, "Hello,
Mm-hmm.
we are friends of elves / an elf. Let's be cool about this."
Okay.
And I lean into Hannah. I'm like, do you know this one? I don't think I know this one. I'm gonna try to play along. I mean,
Yeah, we'll just jam.
Just jam.
I think it's a 1, 3, 5.
Like freeform Hobbit dwarf jazz. Over here. There's all these lyrics going on. We're like, "Rrr."
And I think in probably what is a very old song, so it's probably in Quenya. Erlen kind of stops singing the proper lyrics for a minute, and to Runa in return is like, we need to get their attention in a not threatening way.
I think after you start the song, I think that they've watched you. They've probably been watching you since like as you approached the valley. They've probably been watching you for a few days, and at this point, they've determined that you're not a threat. So what they're going to do, they're going to like they're dressed in this beautiful ornate armor. And I am going to steal this because this is one of the things I really loved from Rings of Power. It's like leather armor, but it's so good. It's like engraved and decorated, so it looks like almost like it's wooden. And it's got like these beautiful like ornate. There's like leaves carved into it that almost look like it looks like it could be wood, but the way they move it like bends, and you know that it's just incredibly well made armor that is just stunning. And a couple of them walk just to the edge of the firelight, not threateningly, and they a couple of them have bows and they're kind of leaning and just listening and appreciating, and they kind of nod their heads when you look at them, so they're very clearly communicating, we're not here to fight you, and then they politely murmur their appreciation when the song ends. And then one of them steps forward. She's a little bit shorter. She has like rusty kind of colored skin almost, and like very light blonde hair that's pulled back and braided incredibly tightly. Because she's a warrior / scout, so she wants it out of her way. But it goes like down her back in like an incredibly tight braid that like just reaches down, so you know it's like got to be really long hair if it's that tightly like braided and still goes down past the middle of her back. And she's got like a very kind of like deep voice. I'm gonna do my best with this. She says, "Isila elelu egovara de win," which is Elvish. You would know if I pronounced it correctly. For a star shines on the hour of our meeting.
My Govanen, my friends and I are seeking Imladris, and specifically the council of Lord Elrond.
We had supposed as much with your clear seeking out our city. And we enjoy your music very much. We've had a few nights now to listen to it, and it is quite pleasant. Thank you for that last one. It was very nice. We have reported back to Lord Elrond, and he has given leave to have you enter the city. And we will escort you there if you'd like now or in the morning.
Now's as good a
Yeah,
time as any.
I wouldn't mind being out of the wilderness. May go on.
May Govanen, Master Hobbit. It has been long since any but the elves have been welcomed into Imlandris, and you've caught Lord Elrond's attention and his curiosity, I believe.
Is his beard as magnificent as Círdan's?
Like, she looks like aghast. And then also she for a moment, and then she like puzzles it. You've met Lord Círdan.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I would assume that elf of you, Master Dwarf, you have met Lord Círdan.
Oh yes,
We
he's
come
a very
straight
nice
from
man.
Midland by way of the Shire.
Indeed, she like takes a deep bow. If we had known that Midland was sending an envoy, we would have sent those out to meet you. Very well. I will take you there at once.
Not to misunderstand, we are coming by the guidance of Lord Círdan, but not at his wishes.
I see.
Not that he doesn't wish us to be here.
We are not his emissaries.
Yes.
I see. Very well. So you are coming from Midland, not from
Correct.
Midland. I see. Very well. Well, either way, you have leave to enter, and we will guide you through the somewhat difficult to find pathways. She kind of like grins a little bit at Hanar because obviously they were kind of when you were looking for it.
Oh.
And then they'll wait while you like pack up your
I
shit.
think Hanar probably catches it and probably mumbles a little under his breath. Like, if they weren't so new, I'd know where it was.
Ooh.
Nice and work.
Yeah. Yeah, then they lead you in, and you start wandering through. It's night, and you kind of wander, like over the hills a little bit down, like past the river. There's like a pathway by the river, and it's really strange now. It's like very clear where it was. Like, how did you not see? Like, super, like right, like it's a beautiful. It's right there, and you cross the river on. There's like a bridge, and it's only once you kind of start to get like very clearly, like almost to the edge of the bridge, that you suddenly see kind of the lights that are very clearly right across the bridge. But up until now, they just like haven't. They've obviously been somewhat through enchantment or magic or some kind been hidden from you, and you can see there's like it's not quite a city, but it's like a large collection of buildings that are there. It's more like you'd think of like a compound of different things.
Like a grand estate kind of a thing.
Yeah, a little bit of a grand estate with multiple buildings. There's obviously one very large like main home or house or temple or something. There's also all these kind of pathways and walkways that are covered with just beautiful ivy that has grown, and it's hard to tell where the ivy ends. The only thing that is the difference between that and the carving of the wood underneath is like the color of the wood is like a very pale, like light, like tan color. It's not like perfect white or anything like that. And you can hear singing also. And there are torches everywhere, and there's also very large basically like kind of bonfire things like in the ground in multiple places. So I'm going to read a quote from it because it's awesome. And this is in my daughter's room, so I might as well read it. So that house was a perfect house. Whether you liked food or sleep or storytelling or singing or just sitting and thinking best or a pleasant mixture of them all, merely to be here was a cure for weariness, fear, and sadness. So, and you just get this like overwhelming sense of peace. What you do notice, especially probably you, Hanar, is how kind of, while it's like impeccably made and beautiful, it's a bit homely. Like it's very much like
rustic.
For elves, this is very elf
yeah.
rustic. Everything is very purposeful. There's like designs on things, and it's got kind of like that organic, like rounded shape to everything. But it is a house meant to be lived in and enjoyed, and not a grand palace of sorts. So, and that is why it is called the last homely house. So, all right. I think let's see. I'll read this part here. It says, the House of Elrond is a large mansion comprising of many halls, open porches supported by pillars, passageways, rooms, and dedicated to diverse purposes, not the least of which is lodging guests comfortably. There are libraries, salons for sitting and thinking, walkways and gardens, and council chambers for meetings, bannock bakeries and kitchens, and a great many other rooms besides. Bells ring in the house in different hours of the day, signaling that meals are ready and the arrival of someone unexpected, or that the master of the house is ready to meet his guests. And yeah, so it's there's a bunch of smaller buildings. Some of them look like guest quarters. Some of them you can smell as you walk by are kitchens, and they're making food. You can see there's a place that has a bunch of long tables where it's like, must be where they have meals or festivals or something like that. And then as you look, there's a little bit of like a raised area, and on that raised platform is like the main house. And you can see that there are some large archways on the outside, and it's got kind of a an indoor-outdoor living area for a better, for like the best way. So you can
Elrond, famed for his love of the California route.
All of Rivendell is a California.
yeah, it's all of it. Like there are very few like actual like fully enclosed spaces here.
Now I have in my head I have those space heaters like up underneath all of the wood.
No. That's why they have the
Yeah,
big
I know.
bonfires.
Yeah.
So you can see as like there's these this large set of stairs leading up to this, and even as you're starting to approach, you can see that like through these grand arches that are like 2 stories high. In the middle, there's like this courtyard in the middle of this like round type building, and in the middle there's a huge like it's built up, but like a big fire pit. And it's like long, and everything else is very rounded, but this one fire pit is like very long. And there's actually like it's down lower in the ground because it's on this like hill, and then there's like seats, like not exactly like, but kind of like an audience seat. This sort of like not choir risers, but like carved into the hillside. So if you've
Greek
seen
amphitheater.
yeah, I was just thinking that, like
Yeah.
Greek amphitheater, but not that big. There's like 4 tiers or something like that.
Like
so,
conversation pit size.
Exactly.
Tiered
Yeah.
conversation pit.
Yeah.
Even
or
more dangerous.
yes, if you ever did like a summer camp or something like that, like they tend to have like the big
Campfire
fire.
ring.
Yeah,
Campfire ring.
exactly. Yeah, so it's a campfire ring, elf style, and you can see that there's different people gathered around different parts. There's a big bonfire going. There's some group of people sitting and talking, and there's a few there's just like spread about. No one's doing a performance or anything at this moment. So people are drinking wine and sipping. And you do notice that as you kind of entered, you do hear this very soft like bell sound. And it's kind of just like, and you hear it going off, and there's different tones depending on where it's coming from in Rivendell. Yeah. So at some point, your guests or your guides ask you to sit by the fire, and Lord Elrond is busy at the moment, but he would like to speak with you as soon as he can, perhaps in the morrow. And until then, you are guests of his house, and you may eat at his table, sing by his fire, rest in the beds available, and do as you will. And rest yourselves, for you are safe here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And she will give her
Take off my helmet.
Nevera, and perhaps I will see you again. And she just kind of looks again at like the dwarf and the hobbit sitting here. It's just, huh. And we'll say that your ponies were all put in a beautiful stable and all those sort of things before you walked through. So you are sitting here by the fire. You can get food if you wish. You can wander about. What would you like to do? And you definitely see like the other elves are being very polite, but they're like looking.
Well,
Did you say that?
yeah, I have to imagine like elf society is very like, ooh, something new.
Yeah.
Mm,
There hasn't been a hobbit here in 5 minutes, but it's pretty much always Bilbo, so it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
For them.
yeah, I mean, I'll grab a little bit of something to eat,
Okay.
and then I'll turn to Ireland and I'll say, "This is quite different from your own. It feels very, very, very different from that wonderful city by the sea."
Well, Imladris is meager for an elven city, but it is a lovely home.
I guess I'll ask you. So, do you have anyone here at all that you are familiar with, or that might be a friendly face?
Honestly, I've spent the last hundreds of years in Mithland, so outside of that, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, they seem hospitable enough, eh?
Indeed.
Mhm.
Although they didn't answer the question, is Lord Elrond's beard as magnificent?
Hannah, Círdan is the only elf with a beard in all of Middle Earth.
Oh. What a terrible shame. Hmm. But I suppose.
It makes his singular and quite unique.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. I can understand the value of rarity. But strange.
It is that.
Is it a choice?
He could shave it.
Well, I mean,
No, for
Do
the
you?
others.
No.
oh. Now he's even more.
I think Runa's very curious. She's like, Hanar, has there ever been a dwarf that didn't have a beard?
That's quite a question.
Children?
Well, obviously.
Well, I
I
mean,
didn't think of it that way. Children don't have beards.
infants.
I never thought of it.
They need a little time to grow, as much as any hair.
I'll admit, I've never met a baby.
Ah, I think dwarven children probably end up starting to grow beards very young.
Yeah, like-
comparatively, like
12.
well, no, like even maybe younger,
Yeah.
like elementary school age.
Head of hair, face of hair.
Yeah, like it just begins to flow.
Yeah.
Imagine
Right.
combing that.
Right.
I feel like it's one of those things where, like, newborn babies now, it's like, oh, she's got some hair. That's amazing. Like some dwarves.
Occasionally, yeah, it's like a good omen.
Yeah.
if the
Just a little bit of
if
peach
there's
fuzz.
stubble.
Yeah. Just like a little bit of like weird baby hair on the thing. Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah.
I love that. It's like a weird thing when you have a kid that they always comment on. Like Laurelyn had a bunch of hair, and like every nurse who came in is like, she has so much hair. I'm like, is it good? Is it bad?
That's a
Like,
comment that I
yeah.
hear still to this day from when I was born.
right?
Mm.
I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's amazing. I guess I don't know.
But yes, Ireland, babies may as well come from storks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Very good. I feel like you might have maybe seen a baby.
Sure,
Like
but-
a hobbit baby.
But then they're all so small. Is that a baby? Is it a toddler?
Yeah. Is it just a bunch of potatoes and
Yeah,
a thing you're carrying? I don't
exactly.
know.
I'm sure that he has seen babies. There are
Yes.
plenty of babies in the world,
Yeah.
but especially like dwarven babies are such a mystery.
No, yeah, that's super. Yeah, they don't carry those around.
No,
Like
yeah,
outside of
they're
the-
very
Yeah,
much
yeah.
in
Yeah.
a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But now the gears are turning. Like how old? And all of these like, how do dwarven babies work?
I love that Hanar brings these weird questions to Middle Earth. Like, what do you mean there's only one bearded elf?
Yeah,
Why would that
perfect.
be? Like, what is a choice? Like, do all other elves shave every day? Like, what's
Okay, scholars have been asking that question for quite a long time as well.
fascinating?
Yeah. So as you're sitting here by the fire, you're hearing. You've gone and fetched some food from like one of the kitchens, and it's one of those things where you are like struck by how different it is than Midland. Like Midland, it felt like it had such weight and such like pressure to like know the customs. And there's a little bit of that here, but it's very casual for your experience with elves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where you walk by the kitchen and they like happily greet you and like give you a plate of food. It's incredible, beautiful elvish food on incredibly intricately carved wooden plates.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than like the immaculate, beautiful, like silver, metal things that you had in Mythland, this is equally beautiful, but again, like just a little more humble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's stunning, and they're very polite, but it's not quite the grand ceremony pressure. Yes.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
like, and everybody obviously knows you're all here.
Sure.
like-
yeah.
They kind of grin, and you can kind of see like some of them like poking their head out. It's a little bit like, oh, elves get like super curious, and they're like a little gossipy feeling. It's like,
Feels like the Shire a
Feels a
little
little
bit.
like home. Yeah, I was gonna say. I'll make sure to grab plates for everybody too.
Okay.
Or like, at least a plate that I can like pass along and share with everyone.
Is there anyone of either not an elf or of interest around that we might see or notice?
I'm gonna have you roll scan.
Hey. I succeed with a Tangwar.
Amazing. Okay. So you look around, you recognize, if not by like familiarity, by like you've seen some of these people before. You notice that, let's see. I'm gonna say that as you're wandering about, because I'm assuming you're just kind of like
Just looking.
looking around, like there's these beautiful walkways that are very clearly meant to be like strolled through. Like if you've gone to like the Huntington or the Getty, or you've seen in like Victorian movies, like those archways that like there's a bunch of those kind of weaving about that are meant to be walked and have beautiful views. And there's bright torches and lanterns hanging everywhere, so it's very warm and inviting. As you are walking along there, you're going to see there's going to be, I'm trying to decide who. You notice a pair of twins. They're fully grown.
Yes.
they're not twin like
They're
children.
striking.
Yeah, they are incredibly attractive. Like even for elves, like they are amazing. And they're Aladdin and El Rohir. And you know that they are Elrond's twin sons. And they are very yummy. And
Yeah, they are.
sorry.
Literally, I think that very few people make Erland look longer than like 2 seconds. And they're striking. They're very beautiful.
Yeah, they closely resemble their father. And they're so alike, like they are identical twins. So even like keen elf eyes, like they look almost identical. It's hard to tell them apart.
Elrond has to do that trick where he paints the fingernails one
Oh,
color and the other one.
They would change it on purpose.
Yeah.
They're notoriously horrible.
yeah, they really, yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, they're very, yeah. And then they are very clearly very physical and athletic. So they are tall, even for elves. They they have that look of like when you picture like Greek heroes, like that height and that build. That's not like bodybuilder, but like very like strong and muscular, but also lean. Like they could like run forever. Yeah, and like incredibly striking. Even if you've seen other elves, these are striking for elves. And they are hanging out together. They're sort of like one of them is trying to read, and and so they're kind of like they have what looks sort of like elven fainting couches. So in like one of these, as you walk through these little like walkways, they have these little like outlets that are just like little like round kind of veranda areas, and they're both there, and one of them's sitting trying to read this beautiful looking tome, and the other one's sitting there like on the other side, like also pretending to read, but also like randomly throwing things at his brother. Like just to see, and his brother kind of like looking around, like every time he gets hit with something, he's like, "What is that?" And then keeps reading. So this is like the scene you have as you go by. Yes. So that's the first person you see, and then like as you're walking by, you notice their sister was sitting with them, and she gets annoyed that they're both being so annoying. And you see Arwen Indominal stand up, who's the Arwen from the movies.
That Arwen.
Yeah, that Arwen. The Arwen. And she like stands up and she like annoyingly closes her book and like it gives her one of her. You're not sure which one it is that's doing the throwing, and which, and just kind of like glares at him and like walks off like incredibly gracefully, like down, and then she's gonna start walking like your direction, like. Not like towards you, but just like walking away from her brothers. And she's kind of looking down and starting to read her book again as she walks. And it looks like Arwen might be about to walk into you.
I think out of an abundance of courtesy, Erland actually purposely avoids her.
Okay.
He's like, I know exactly who you are, and I do not need to say something, do something wrong in this situation. As much as Mikai is like, oh my god.
Very good.
Erland would flee.
Okay.
Very politely, as subtly as possible, just like, oh, I have to go be somewhere literally anywhere else. Goodbye.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to have you all roll. I'm going to have you roll. This would be like just the right thing. I'm going to have you. I'm going to have you roll. Gosh. I'm going to have you roll athletics to see how like chill and suave you can be walking out of the way. And the rest of you, I'm going to have you roll lore just to see if you can even guess at who the even guess from Erland's behavior, what is up. You can also roll insight if you'd rather do that.
This could not be more perfect.
Okay, that'll be insight.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got an eye and a Tangwar.
Amazing. Okay,
Okay.
I succeed, but nothing special.
Okay.
Great success for me, 1 Tangwar.
Okay.
Absolute failure.
Oh no!
All right. So we're gonna
Modern elves, not your forte.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's very young for an elf. Like not.
She's a baby.
Small.
Yeah,
I think she's younger than
I
Erland.
think she might be younger than Erland.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
she is very, very young for an elf. So we have this thing where Erland like has this moment of like total fanboying almost. Like he's just like, oh, those twins, and then and like describe what you do.
I think he's been walking around and like kind of holding a book thinking maybe I'll sit and write. Maybe I'll look at what's going on and maybe I'll go get food. Maybe I'll go like just fully overwhelmed kid at Disneyland. There's too many things to do at once, but it's all like the quietest, nerdiest version of
Yeah.
that. And seeing the twins, I think he froze. And in the moment of freezing, he's holding one of those new books that he's just made. And when he sees her walking towards him, she closes her book and he drops his, just completely loses it for a second.
Amazing. So just as she looks up and like you make eye contact for a minute, there's this big like crash as your book like and its beautiful leather bound cover like hits this hard floor and makes this big slapping sound.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that both of you like are aware enough to like pick up on this and like, oh, this must be somebody important and like look up at her. I'm gonna say that you are so distracted by the sound, like that's weird, Erland. You're gonna walk right into Lady Arwen.
Probably because I saw the weird reaction and the dropping of the book, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, all right. So it's the glance back and
Yeah, that's what kind of caused it. Yeah, absolutely. So, oh my gosh. So Arwen is even more beautiful than her brothers, like if it's available, if that's possible. And she is so beautiful that there is an elf in well, she's more than an elf. She's also part Maiar from Elven history called Luthien. And she is like the most beautiful elf that's ever lived. Like she is like their version of like Helen of Troy, and she's from their histories that way. Like she's from early in the in artist history, and they just yeah. So and they say that Arwen is so beautiful that she's Luthien born again. So also you should totally go read the story of Luthien and Baron because it's amazing.
Or just read this poem or literally
Anyway, it's
so
beautiful. Yeah, and that's the story that Arwen and Aragorn are a very dim reflection of the love story between Luthien and Beren back in things. And actually, fun little nerdy fact, J.R.R. Tolkien actually has Luthien and Beren on him and his wife's headstones. Because that was
Beautiful.
the story that like he really identified with him and his wife and like true love forever.
And clear that he told these stories to his kids, so it was also like, I love your mother so much.
Yeah, so beautiful, so nice. And
I know.
so good. Anyway, really amazing. So, but this is like how striking she is that they're basically, it's like saying Helen of Troy born again. When you knew that Helen of Troy was a real person and actually some of you had lived long enough to see her. So it's like very meaningful. Yes. And yeah, she's a incredibly just graceful. She's got, even for an elf, she's just got like this gentle, like when ballerinas are dancing and like just in their moment of just like complete perfect movement. That's Arwen all the time. And she has long dark hair, which is not so different in Elrond's line, but you know, and it's in like these perfect circlets that have these fine, almost as beautiful as the silver chains that you saw and that you have wrapped around, like woven into her curls and into her braids. And she has almost, it's not quite like Celtic-y, but like it's very similar where it's like braided into actual patterns in her hair. And you can actually see these beautiful swirls and things, but it also looks relaxed and effortless. It's not like a tight braid like you'd see. It's just, my hair fell like this into these perfect designs.
I woke up this way.
Yeah, basically.
But every day for over 1,000 years. Yes.
Every day. And yeah, she has a beautiful, little deeper voice than you'd almost expect. And she's not as tall as her brothers. She's tall for a human man, but for elves, she's a little bit average. So she's not super tall for an elf. And she seems a little bit startled when she hears this big slap of this book on the floor. Oh, and then she's even more startled when...
The shoulder check from Dwarf.
So how are you dressed right now, Hannah?
Well, I mean, like, we just came in from the road.
Okay, so you're in, like...
I'm still in my full travel gear.
Okay.
Like, I'm sure I left my weapons on the horse, right? Like, I don't have a big spear sticking out of my backpack, and I probably left all of my gear on the horse.
Okay.
But he's probably wearing, like, having come in from the wilderness, he probably turned his coat to the fancier side.
Okay.
With all the different many colors.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Instead of the reverse where it's just dusty and made to blend in.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just, and he put his helmet back on.
Just a dwarf.
Right, like,
Very colorful dwarf.
Yeah.
All right, Hannah, I am going to have you roll.
Athletics.
I mean, yeah, I think
no.
like how I'm gonna say a successful roll means you don't knock her over.
Oh no.
Good. Hannah's not super athletic.
Nope.
Let's see how this goes.
Oh God.
Hey, I made it. On the money.
Oh.
All right.
Nothing special, but I got to the number.
So you're still gonna run into Tarwin.
Yeah. It is
But-
absolutely like an accidental shoulder check.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I looked back and just,
Yeah.
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 And I mean, she is an elf, so she has like this amazing, and she, she's got a very impressive line of elves before her. So you're actually kind of surprised when you look up and you see who you bumped into. It's like a very petite, sort of frail looking, not frail, but like petite.
Willowy.
Yeah, like a gentle looking person who had a pretty solid, like you ran into her and she had a pretty solid, you bounced a little bit off of her. And she, she put it back on her heel a little bit.
I'm terribly sorry. I was distracted by the loud noise.
Oh, yes, as was I.
Pardon me, Haneen. My friend was just looking for me.
It seems he's found you.
Indeed.
You must be our new guest that I've heard so much about.
We would be, yes.
Yes.
Let me see. I've heard that there is the Hobbit,
I bow deeply.
and I've heard that you carry a spear.
Oh, I do. I did leave it. Just tucked it away. I don't think I'm going to need it in this beautiful place.
No, indeed, you will not. But it is interesting. I've never thought of hobbits as having weaponry before.
Well, we do have the need for them sometimes. Much like anyone in this world, our world in the Shire is not. It is far from perfect.
Indeed.
Though, now that I say that and I look around here, I don't know if that statement necessarily applies.
Most interesting. You know, Master Hobbit, I have not spent a great deal of time learning about you and your kin. But perhaps that should change. I like those who seek to have a gentle and enjoyable world. And it seems that is what I've heard of your people.
Oh, indeed, my lady, indeed. And as you show us hospitality here, I am more than happy to give you the courtesy of answering whatever questions you may have.
Oh, well, that is most generous. Thank you.
Not at all, not at all. I am at your disposal while we are here.
Well, often the gift of wisdom and knowledge is the greatest gift one can receive, for it is the one thing that can never be taken away. So, thank you, Master Hobbit. May I ask your name?
My name is Burl Brandybottom, but you may call me Sausage, as my kith and kin do, due to my stature, my stout stature, and me snappy skin.
Very nice. Now, Arwen has, like, perfect, like, courtesy. Like, she has all the pips in courtesy. And, like, probably only Erlen sees because, like, he's spent so much time with elves, like, the delight. Like, the sparkle in her eyes as she keeps her, like, polite facade when he's like, you can call me Sausage. She's just, like, delighted and doesn't think it's silly, but just, like, so strange and interesting to her. She's just amazed by it.
And one thing, I don't know if any of you notice, but every once in a while my hand will kind of slip into my pocket where the handkerchief is with the blossom, because kind of seeing this visage of beauty is reminding me of someone far away.
Oh. That's so sweet. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was very good. Okay. And then she's going to turn to the Hanar. Yeah.
I pull out some of my candies. I'm terribly sorry.
Thank you. She's super confused by what this is. But it's like, again, like super polished and put together. Are these gems that you've mined?
No, they're sweet treats to enjoy.
And she takes one and like puts in her. Oh my!
From the fire dwarf. I say matter of factly.
Yeah. Is that your title?
Well, apparently in the Shire, yes. Yes, I have inspired them to be safe when it comes to unseasonal fires.
I see. Well, that is a noble purpose indeed. It is very kind of you to leave your home in the mountains to warn the Shire folk of such a thing. She seems a little confused.
Well, you know, it's any good reason to have a celebration, I say.
On that we can agree, indeed. Especially if it includes good food. And it is interesting to see, well, a hobbit out of the Shire, and also much more uniquely a dwarf entering into elven lands.
Yes. I never anticipated that this is where my life would take me either. But there is a great need for wisdom. And we have been told that the lord of this manor has a great amount of it to share.
Well, you're most impressive, Master Hobbit, or Master Dwarf. It is interesting because...
Hanar still has no idea who this is.
No, yeah,
No.
absolutely.
Some
No,
random
fine.
Nope.
My father is indeed a wise and noble person, but it shows great wisdom indeed to know when to seek wisdom from others. There are many who are not wise enough to know that they need that. Thank you again for the sweets.
Indeed. Thank you for your hospitality.
And then she grins over. We're going to save you for last, Erland.
Erland is like white knuckling this book after he picks it up.
Yeah, I'm just going to draw it out.
Yep.
She's going to grin over. And young adventurer, is it you are dressed as such?
I am. I come from a long line of adventurers in Bree. My name is Runa of Bree.
It is wonderful to make your acquaintance. I myself come from a very long line and know that the weight such a lineage can carry. But adventurers, you say?
Indeed, all the women of my family work as adventurers.
Indeed.
We have quite the archive now in Bree of interesting historical objects.
Oh, most interesting. I would love to hear more about what you have.
Oh, I'd love to tell you. And if you ever make it to Bree, you should absolutely stop by my grandmother's house and check out the archive. She loves visitors.
Yes. I do not know if I will ever head west, but oh, the weight of that scene.
Oh!
But if I do ever make it out to Bree, I will indeed stop by. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. Thank you for your hospitality. And while I'm here, I'd be happy to tell you all about our collection and my adventures if you like.
Indeed. Perhaps I can share or show you some of our collection as well. We have
would-
some old things as well.
I would love that. I would adore it.
Indeed. I know those of you listening to the podcast, you can guess, but Kai's face through this entire conversation has been just chef's kiss, priceless.
I'm more than staring into the middle distance.
Yeah.
I'm reading the entirety of the appendices of Lord of the Rings while I just sit here with my eyes open.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think as soon as Arwen offers to show her some of their antiquities, she's very much trying to keep polite. We're with the elves, be polite, but inside she's like, please show me your old stuff.
Oh my God.
All right. And has Runa kind of picked up on who this is?
Yeah, as soon as she said my father, she's like, oh, this is Elrond's dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The extra polite.
And Brother Elf from the sea. Welcome to Rivendell.
Yes, my lady.
In Landris.
I'm Erland of Mithland. It is a sincere pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And yours as well. You, what do you do in Mithland?
Oh, I've spent most of my time as a shipwright, crafting the ships of our people.
Oh,
But now I'm exploring and adventuring for a while.
indeed. There's a little bit of awkwardness when you mention the ships.
And we're moving on from that part.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah, and she kind of is like, For those of you who don't know, by this point, she and Aragorn are in love at this point.
Mhm.
They've known each other. She kind of has this notion of she wants to be with him. She knows that to do that, she'll have to give up her immortal life and embrace a mortal life. Obviously, her dad doesn't like that too much. So it's this little bit of a...
Also, her mom very famously had to go very suddenly.
There's a lot of family drama there.
Ugh.
And there's abandonment issues when her mother had to leave and go to Valinor, and she's got a little bit of weird Valinor drama because of that. There's a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, her dad and her brothers are all going eventually, and there's just a whole thing. Hopefully. So anyway, that's the awkwardness there for those of you who aren't already wow, I know exactly why this is.
Just today, I saw somebody posted a meme of Elrond escorting a kid, and and was like, "Oh, Arwen, this is a young human boy that's going to stay with us for a while."
They met when he was like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's okay, let's see. At this point he is like 10 at this point.
I was doing the math. I was like wondering if Gilrian's here.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the things.
Okay, yeah. Quick retcon on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at
She
this
looks the
point,
same.
yeah, she's the same. She's like an adult, like we see her in the movies. But yeah, she would not have been in love with Aragorn at this point. Delete that. Yes,
Yeah.
because he would be just a little too young, and that would be creepy.
Well, he's 20 when they actually.
Is he?
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I know way too much about
I know.
it.
It's like, wait. I know he came to Rivendell when he was like, wasn't it? He was like
8.
10 and 8, 10. Yeah, I knew who's that. Was she gone?
Yes, and then she didn't come back for years, and then when they.
Oh, she was in Lothlorien.
She was in Lothlorien,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna fudge things a little bit because I already introduced her and I like being her. So we'll say this is like the in between.
We're
We don't-
right in the
Yeah.
weird gray area where it very
Yeah,
well could be.
We're not anywhere here today. So he
I'm
won't be.
taking you at your word.
It'll be fine. So yeah, all the spoilers here.
Yeah.
Sorry if you haven't watched
Red
Lord of
Lord
the
of the
Rings.
Rings.
Yeah.
How dare you not watch?
But yes,
Yeah.
Erland is extremely awkward around her
Yeah.
because she's the lady of Rivendell and possibly one of the most famous elves of their age.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like, she asks you a few things about the ships, and she inquires politely if you are a student of Círdan.
I am. I've studied at his side off and on for years and have greatly prospered by his tutelage.
He has much wisdom to impart to those. I met him briefly one time, and his beard was quite unique. It's very interesting. I was unaware that our kin were able to grow such a beard.
Clearly, he did not impart to you that he is the only one at length.
At length, in many ways, yes.
It is our sincerest pleasure to be in Imladris and to partake in your hospitality. I do not mean to disturb you any further. It's just lovely to hear.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. It's nice to have such a diversion. As lovely as Imladris is, it is my home. And as anyone's home, it can get very, maybe sometimes too familiar. But yes, if you have need of anything else, what if I give you a bit of a tour?
That would be amazing.
Yes,
That'd
that
be
would
delightful.
indeed be lovely.
Yes. She turns around and sees her brothers still like messing around. Why don't we start this way? And very like gracefully like escorts you around the other direction and shows you a myriad of libraries and a beautiful metalwork shop where they're making everything from beautiful, incredible jewelry to like useful things like bits for horses and clasps for belts and all sorts of things there. And through it all, it's just more useful than what you saw in Mithland. Like everything is everything in Mithland was like a little extra, and like you were like, oh, I don't know if I should wear this jewelry. Like this is like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the jewelry I wear like every day. Still stunning and beautiful, but just like relaxed a little bit more.
Elrond lives in like a man jamma situation.
Yeah.
That should tell you a lot about this place.
Exactly.
What's the tree situation here?
Delightful description. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I have something to aspire to.
Yeah, man, Elrond knows how to live.
Yeah.
There are lots of trees around. Like it's mostly been cleared from actually in
Gotcha.
in the kind of mansion collective. But there are many trees around on the outside and overlooking things. There's like cliffs into like rivers, and there's like some streams actually running through Rivendell itself and kind of near the mansion and even under some of the buildings that then kind of fall off into in beautiful waterfalls that join the larger river and all this stuff. Very pretty. The one thing that like Rivendell was really beautiful in the movies, but it was like a little too fancy. Like it was
So big.
yeah, it was like really big, but it was also just like it's supposed to be there's a room called the Hall of Fire, which is where you were hanging out, and it's
A
literally
very nice hunting lodge.
yeah, like
That is
much,
kind of the vibe.
yeah, much yeah, like something like that. If you saw a very like Art Nouveau like hunting lodge, like that's what it is. I got that right? Art Nouveau, not Art
Yes.
Deco. Okay.
Yes.
I always swap them, but yeah. So
That's
like
correct.
that's kind of like the vibe here.
I think dwarves have the lockdown on Art Deco.
Yeah.
Oh,
I always
yeah.
I just swap them in my head, which one's which, and it's like, wait, I always guess the wrong one. Just like when I try and see the number of sessions that we're on, like, 'cause you
Oh,
always
one
drop-
back usually.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
no, okay, give me a moment, I'll find it. So yeah, she walks you through some of these other walkways, and yeah, you get a beautiful tour. There is a large banquet hall kind of off to the side. The Hall of Fire is kind of right in the middle. So there's these big, beautiful like archways. And when you walk in, it actually, if you look up, you realize like how much taller the ceiling in here is than even the arches are about 2 stories high. Once you walk in, you look up, it's almost like a huge like cathedral height. But like pretty plain. Like there's some beams and there's some nice carvings and like large windows to let in the light during the day. But it's nothing like the intricate carvings that you saw in Numinous or Mythland or anything like that. There's some paintings. So there's some parts of the wall that have been painted with different kind of icons. You do notice there's like some of the trees in a couple places. Again, they're not quite perfect. They're like, okay, this is what we think they look like.
No one here has ever seen
Nope,
the trees.
absolutely. Except
Oh.
Hanar.
Except for Hanar.
Yeah.
Like, probably no one in this entire Elven city has ever seen
Yeah. Even Elrond. Elrond.
No,
Nope.
no.
All right.
Yeah. So you're very special, Hanar.
All these young kids.
I know, exactly.
I gotta borrow that cane.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, you go through there, and then past that kind of like undercover but like outdoor area, there are rooms to the sides. To one side is this large banquet area, and that's kind of off to the left. And it has a large fire. They actually have like 3 large fire pits down the center of that room, with then like long, beautiful banquet tables that are there. And it's not being used at the moment, but you can tell like hundreds of people can fit at these tables. And they probably have more tables they bring out when it's busy. And it's a very, very large room too. And then there's...
Are there that many elves around here? Like, does it seem like the population is hundreds?
Not that you've seen,
Okay.
but they would also have great gatherings here.
Sure, okay.
And this is one of the places that pilgrims go through. So the large caravans of, there's not always large, but it's also like, it's new for an elven city, but the population was larger before more people started leaving too. So it's new for an elven city,
Sure.
which is a little bit of a different measuring stick.
Yeah.
But it's also not used right now. But you do see at the end of the hall, there's like a raised area with a smaller table, which is like got some really big, beautiful chairs, which is obviously for Lord Elrond and his family. And the fires in that room are not lit right now, though. You can see the big fire pits, though. There's some stairs going up to like a second level. She does not take you up those stairs. It's like the living quarters for the family. But she walks you through. There's a library. And they're all kind of like on the outskirts of the Hall of Fire. Yeah. And there's a bunch of little porches and things like that. The library specifically is a lot of it. Sorry, one second. A lot of it, you could tell, Erland. Nobody else reads. Do you read Elvish now?
I don't think so.
Okay. I feel like maybe like you recognize words.
Maybe.
Okay.
But not
No.
literate.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Yeah. Because it's not like somebody was like, here, let me aim this at a book for a while.
Yeah.
I saw events happening.
That's true.
more
That's
than-
true. You didn't experience you didn't give
I
memories. Okay.
probably
There weren't words.
understand
Yeah.
a lot more now. Like,
Oh yeah.
verbally
Yeah.
listening.
Okay, that makes sense. But you wouldn't see it written word language is
Yeah.
probably still very off. Okay.
Like, common things that would be written on a building, maybe?
Okay.
Things like that I would maybe recognize.
Okay.
Or I don't think there's like Elven road signs, but
Sometimes, I mean,
things like, I
Yeah.
suppose.
yeah. So you would notice as you were walking through Ireland, like a lot of the books there are written like in the same hand. So these are a lot of like recorded things. Spoilers, it's Elrond who's gone through and written like huge histories of the Elder Days and is trying to make records of all of everything that's happened, even if he wasn't the one who was there. Very little of it is in the common tongue. There's a few things here and there that you would recognize or be able to read. You probably wouldn't recognize any of it. It seems like Elrond is trying to record everything, but it's interesting that he's chosen to do it all still in like Elvish. And there's kind of like at least Erlen, the question for you is like, it's obviously something he's still working at. There's still tables there where he's writing all this down. It's like, if he's recording all this, why is he recording it like for people who are leaving? It's just a little bit of like an odd thing.
I think it's also for Erlen, though. He's also recording things in Sindarin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's also a little bit of like, maybe we are more kindred than I have ever considered. But also, I know why I'm writing this in Sindarin. Why are you writing this in Sindarin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because there's so many tomes here. Like you look and like the library is like very like multiple stories high, and it's one of the things where there's like the ladders and a second level and like a third level. So it's like it's been like lifetimes, like normal lifetimes that he's been doing this. So this is clearly like one of the most important things that he's dedicated time to.
And also, Erlen wants to read
Everything.
all of them. Literally all of them.
Yeah. So yeah, and then let's see.
While we're walking, are you still fiddling with that kerchief in your
Yeah, I mean, it's not like my hand is persistently in my pocket, like clutching it or anything like that. But yeah, just every few moments, when I see something that reminds me of Petunia, I will reach in there and fondly, just remember that night.
I think at some point, Erlen starts to wonder if you lost something or like dropped something.
Why I keep reaching into my pocket?
Yeah. Like when you're looking for your keys and you're like, I swear they're in this pocket. And,
Yeah,
and then you keep
yeah.
walking, you're like, are my keys in this pocket?
She got it in this pocket.
Yeah. And so I think Erlen just starts to look.
Okay.
Doesn't say anything, but just is wondering.
Sure. I think as the night progresses too, my gaze kind of just gets a little more distant. I start looking out more into the woods, off west in the direction of home.
Great. As you continue your tour, she is not going to take you into the vaults right now. But she does mention like, oh, we do have the vaults, and maybe I can show you like tomorrow or
That would be quite incredible.
and as she shows you kind of the rest.
I think I'd specifically ask, like,
Oh.
are they well secured? Do you?
Oh, indeed, yes. And we do not keep anything here that could aid any darkness. We are quite specific. We are a place of healing and of lore. And so while we do keep them quite safe for historical reasons, and so those who come later may benefit from them, there's nothing that poses a true danger other than the sorrow if it were to be lost.
Quite wise.
Yes.
Erlen cannot look at Arwen. Oh no, I've done a bad thing bringing us here.
And she continues her tour, and you see more remnants of like something that used to obviously have a much bigger population. There's like some beautiful bathhouses and things like that that just aren't really used. Similar in a way to kind of what you saw in Mythland. And at the end of your tour, I must away, but I believe you have an audience with my father in the morning.
We do, yes.
I hope it goes well. And he is a wise man, but sometimes has difficulty seeing past his past. To help him see whatever it is that you need, help him see the wisdom of how it will help the greater good. And you will do better. And I will see you soon.
We look forward to
Indeed.
it, and thank you for your counsel.
Good
And
evening.
for the tour.
And your
Lovely.
hospitality.
My pleasure. Thank you for the sweets, and you're a great company.
Okay. Deep bow before say goodnight.
So she leaves, and then all of you get 1 hope point.
Oh.
Mhm.
Thanks, Arwen.
No problem. Just because she is so beautiful.
So pretty.
And that is literally in the rule book. She's
God.
so pretty that in the rule book there's a +1 hope for seeing her.
Well, I guess there's something worth living for.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
All right. Why don't you? We'll just say that you are given beautiful accommodations to rest for the evening. Do you want separate rooms? They have plenty of rooms. Do you all want to stick together? What would you like?
I'm not particularly worried about like being attacked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to worry about that here.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Erlen just goes for the room with the best view.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Just
Okay.
any room that has like an open air.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hannah
That's all of them,
specifically
basically.
chooses one that's away from the water.
Okay.
Sorry, Hannah.
So, like the forest view room instead of the waterfall view room.
Okay. We are running a little low on time.
Yeah.
So I would like to make sure that we have our meeting with Elrond. So we're going to say that you sleep for the night. You all have your own beautiful rooms. Yes.
Overnight, can I make some tree sketches?
Yeah.
Like to.
Fabulous.
Absolutely. And we'll say that you meet up in the morning for breakfast. And perhaps you should do some planning before you meet Lord Elrond about maybe what you're going to do.
Yeah.
If you're going to try and what your plan is for the Palantir and Lord Elrond and what you're
Yeah.
going to do.
Well, it's come to it now, and I feel a bit conflicted.
I must say I do as well. Seeing this place in person and how beautiful and peaceful it is, and hearing Lady Arwen speak of their vault here, I am not certain as I was before about bequeathing our item to
Yes.
such a place.
But
A thought has come to me at night as I was lying there, thinking about wanting to go home. And I think to myself, or I tell you all, now, this Palantir, it was lost for a long, long time inside that pearl, right?
Mm.
What if we just seal it back inside that pearl?
Well,
And how would you be able to change that clasp into something a little more permanent?
I mean, there's smiths, so we could just seal it, right?
well, I mean, not as well as if I'd never cut it open in the first place.
Yeah,
But
of course. But if we were to seal it like that permanently, it might be safer here anyway.
It's true. If it was
Inside their vault,
inside the pearl, which was encased in, say, a metal.
perhaps.
And to that end, as much as I don't want to change this place, it isn't ours to say.
No, of course not. But it is a burden rather than a gift.
We came here
Indeed.
knowing we brought a burden with us.
Perhaps it is better for this Oh, mysterious, powerful thing to once again be lost, just in a more deliberate way. I have seen strange things. That that doom of Anuminas, the burnt beasts, and now this strange dark cloaked creature that follows us. I am incredibly afraid of what is trailing us here. And I would rather these dark things be lost to time rather than be spoken of in legends. If there are songs to be sung about us and about what we have done, I think those songs must remain unsung. For I do not want any of those words, those lyrics, the tunes to lead to the Shire.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Oh, indeed.
Then let us beseech Lord Elrond with all that we can give.
Yes, at the very least, perhaps he'll have a better idea than the rest of us.
Might I start us?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
And I look at you. We have walked many, many miles together, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
I trust you.
I value that trust deeply.
I value you all. Your counsel, your company. I know that you shall speak words well and good for all of us.
I hope so. Shall we then?
Yes. Onward.
Then Erland, dressed in the nicest clothes, just really kind of an alteration of what he normally wears, and holding one of his new books.
Mhm.
Makes them very obviously done with their meal and present.
All right. All right. Then you are escorted by some finely dressed elves. They are definitely not like the kind of scouts you saw yesterday. They are in what do you call them, manjamas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like beautiful flowing like robes that are more subdued in tone. A lot of greens and tans and browns, but like beautiful cloth. It's like seeing like rich green velvet. It's like, oh, it's green, but it's so beautiful, and it's got like this beautiful depth and texture to all of it. But it's much lighter. It doesn't have like the weight of velvet. It's like very billowy, and you get like those beautiful kind of like breeze shots where like it just kind of swirls about. And they come and they beckon you to then say that Lord Elrond is ready to receive you. And they walk you. Your rooms that you were staying in are kind of across kind of the center courtyard. You cross the courtyard, you go up the steps, and you enter again the Hall of Fire. And you walk through there. The fire's still burning. Like it seems to burn constantly in this room. Although there's no one here, and right now there's nobody like meandering about or singing or chatting with each other. So you walk kind of around the upper level, looking down at the fire, and past that into what is a large room with many seats and kind of a larger lifted area that has a large chair on it. It's basically a throne room. But again, like beautiful, but like kind of relaxed in a way. This throne is incredibly beautifully carved wood. There's not gems everywhere. But on this throne is who you can only assume is Lord Elrond. And he has the kind of weight and presence of Círdan, but in a very different way. So Círdan was jovial and friendly, but had the command and kind of like the presence of, and not so much with all of you, definitely with Ireland, but not everyone else. Like there was a presence of a captain who was being friendly to you, but like was master of his domain, that everyone would like on a whim, like they would like jump and jump to and do the things, but he was being very friendly with you. He was often very formal in his movements, and you could tell he had this great physical strength from doing labor. You get a very different feeling from Lord Elrond. So Elrond is sitting, and he's very kind of relaxed in his chair. There's someone kind of singing in the corner. He is holding a book and reading it. He has the presence of like royalty and a king. Well, Círdan had the presence of someone who's worked hard his whole life to earn the respect and can do everyone's job well enough to earn their respect. So it's that vibe of a captain versus a born noble. You still get the feeling that every single person in this room would absolutely follow his Elrond's order on a whim, but it is more the weight of lineage and the power that comes with who he is more than what he can do. But you do get also, like, as he moves, you can tell that he has seen some stuff. He is obviously, while he's not as quite as stunning and as his sons are, or his daughter, who's beautiful. He is still like very handsome and ageless. He's not balding. No judging, but you did a great job. But and yeah, he is also a warrior. He has been through some of the most dark and fearsome battles that have ever taken place on Earth. And while not all of you know that, you all have seen fighters, and you've all seen how they move. And he moves as someone who has wielded a sword in battle, and who knows how many foes have been ended by him. Any questions about what you're seeing? No? Okay. Sorry, you look like you're about to say something, Dave.
No.
Okay. But he does not, he's not unfriendly seeming, but there's just a little bit more of like an air of like unapproachability about him that you did not get with Círdan. And in fact, he is literally above you on a raised dais on a throne. And when he sees you come in, he like closes his book and he sets it down on this little side table that's sitting next to him. And he nods to the singer, who then stops and like bows their head and kind of takes a step back. And he looks out at you, and he's got pale skin, dark hair like his daughter's. It also has kind of a woven kind of circlet that then goes into small chains, but his is not quite as long. Although it has kind of the same like curls as she does, you can kind of be like, oh, that's your dad. And just a little bit of backstory for those of you who don't necessarily know. So he's lived in Middle-earth for thousands of years, although he's not old enough to have seen the trees and such things. He is called Elrond Half-Elven because he literally is half-elven. He has lineage from both elves and the like great races of man from previous generations. And in fact, his brother and him were given the choice many years ago. You get to choose. Do you want to be of men or do you want to be of elves? Elrond chose to be of elves. His brother chose to be of men and became the first king of Númenor. So of the great island nation that eventually, spoilers, was destroyed.
Thank.
Yeah, thank. Don't cross the Valar. Anyway, and the survivors came, and they were the people who settled Annuminus and stuff like that. So his brother is the beginning of that entire line of people
Wow.
back many, many, many generations. So he's old and wise, but also has a soft spot for humans in a way many elves do not. And yeah, Arwen is his daughter. He was wed to Galadriel's daughter. Galadriel and Lord Celeborn had a daughter named Celebrian, and they were married and had a bunch of kids, set of twins, pretty girl. She had to leave unexpectedly and through a whole nother long story, which I won't tell now.
Dramatic and sad.
Yeah, dramatic. Everything is dramatic and sad eventually with the elves. So he's here being a cool single dad and like his like indoor-outdoor living space.
We're painting quite a picture of Elrond tonight.
It's vibes. We're very vibing here. So yes, and he was at one point. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. I think that's all the most important information. Also, he has a really nice ring on his finger.
Ooh.
Not the ring.
No,
Another-
very important
A
ring.
ring.
Capital R ring, just not the
Yeah.
capital R ring.
So, 3 for the elves. Okay.
Erlen enters with a very deep bow.
Okay. My guests. Welcome. My daughter has told me quite a lot about you. She had an enjoyable time giving you a tour of our home last night. So, thank you very much for being so kind with her.
Thank you for allowing us to have this audience with you, Lord Elrond.
I must say that though I welcome you into my lands, and I know you pose no direct threat yourselves, no one comes all this way without needing something. And before we spend too much time on the pleasantries, you are my guests, and that will not change. But I do need to know why it is you've come. For there is a hesitancy behind your eyes that tells me that it is not all good news.
I will impart to you the most important of information, as well as a gift. That also comes with more information. This book, and he holds out one of the 5 books that he just finished binding, and offers it to Lord Elrond, was made of the skin of a beast that was threatening the Shire.
Indeed.
A creature of great darkness, not a creature of light. We have been following and seeing signs of ills in this land for quite a while, and touched a few ourselves. To that end, we, while aiding the Dunedain, discovered something that we have here in our possession, safely, of great concern. We bring to you a Palantir, Lord Elrond.
Like he seems like taken aback, like very composed, but even that, like that was not what he was expecting. You have it with you.
Yes.
I just pat my hip.
Indeed, very well. And if you could give us a moment, and he kind of waves his hand, and everyone melts away. You are sure it is a Palantir?
Quite sure.
Very certain through experiential testing.
Unfortunately.
You have used it.
Yes.
I'll pull out one of my sketches.
You saw the trees.
Indeed. It was a wonderful experience for me, but not for all.
No. Lord Kieran has also seen it and given it his validity.
He would know. I please keep it put away.
Oh, it's quite safe, I assure you.
And indeed, it. What is that? It's in.
A pearl, a part of a creature that bedeviled the lake of Anuminus that I don't remember the name of without looking.
The doom of Anuminus.
Well, that was the creature, but
Yeah.
the lake had a different name.
Oh, Nen. Nen means water.
That lake.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the word that I was searching for.
Yeah.
Out of character. But
It's there.
Yeah.
Oh, Nanuil.
Nen,
There it is.
yeah,
I'm like, wait, let's break down the parts of the word.
Yeah, me too. I was like, nah.
Nen is water, and let's see, yeah. Indeed. Well, why have you brought it here?
Seeking your counsel, if not the wisdom of someone who knows how to deal with such ancient terrors.
And there's like a darkness kind of creeps over his generally very friendly, relaxed California face. This is the vibe I'm setting for Rivendell. I don't know why this has happened, but okay. I have seen darkness. I have seen the very face of darkness. The Palantir are mysterious. And there are those who say they cannot be destroyed. But there are many who assume that great fire, such as that of a old dragon's fire, or indeed perhaps of the fire of Orodurin, may be able to burn such a thing. I believe you call it Mount Doom. Would be able to destroy such a thing.
Short of walking into our absolute destruction, and for lack of dragons these days.
You would be surprised. Quite recently, in fact. It's
I heard.
quite amazing.
But what would you do?
It is a temptation. I love knowledge. But for the good of my people, I would not want to use it here. For those who seek it also seek this place. And we have, as you, I'm sure, noticed, gone through great lengths to keep ourselves hidden. And you never know what knowledge may be gained through a Palantir. It may just be a visual, but for all we know, a slight bit of vision, a leaf that blows through what they see could give us away and give away our location. And I would not risk the lives of all those here for even the greatest knowledge.
And they are watching.
They are always watching. As you've no doubt noticed, and as you've described, shadow builds. It is growing again. And though we once had the opportunity to snuff it out for all time, we missed that opportunity. And so it grows, like weeds in a garden, slowly at first, so you almost don't notice them, until it becomes a large problem and starts snuffing out the life that you want there. And he looks like genuinely sad at this moment. I throwing it into the sea may be a way, but it seems that this one has found a way to even save itself from such a dark fate as that.
Indeed.
Such a strange thing. What is it that my limited wisdom... Sorry. What is it that you wish to do once you have my limited wisdom on such things? I know much less of them than Círdan.
I think what we seek is a safe place for this object to rest so that it is not a seed out in the world sprouting more darkness. We saw the havoc it created going into the sea, being swallowed by a fish, and being the scourge of the Dunedain for generations. Keeping it from the hands of those who would use it for evil, and not letting it fall into even the hands of an animal that could become a tool of darkness. That is what we seek.
That is a large ask. And we're going to do a council.
Ooh.
Okay, so first thing, to qualify as a council, a meeting must be a formal gathering during which the stakes are high and from whose outcome the company stands to win or lose something valuable. I think this counts.
Yeah.
Before the council begins, the company should agree on what they hope to achieve from it, which we've already done. So you're hoping to leave...
Please take
Yeah, take our scary stone away from us. Keep it here.
Or tell us
I'm
where to
willing
put it.
accept like advice on a place that would be better to keep it.
I think Erlen's ultimate goal would be for it to stay here, but if for nothing else, then
Right,
where
yeah.
do we put it? Where do we take
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I mean...
Please take
Yeah.
Plan B. Please
Where
tell us
go?
where to take
Yeah, where
it.
go?
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. You're asking them to keep it. If he doesn't keep it, he's not going to be like,
Get out of my house.
get in my house.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to give you advice on what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to convince him that this is the thing to do. To achieve their goal, the company must achieve a number of successes matching the resistance value set by the lore master within a time limit. A limited
boy.
number of attempts. Consequences flow from the main rules. So, set resistance. So you have an outrageous request.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
The company bids the folk encountered to do something dangerous with scant possibility of reward. You're asking Lord Elrond to take a incredibly dangerous object into his home and keep it in his vaults. So it is a 9 is the number of successes you need to have. I'm going to have it drop down 1, so I'm going to have it be 8 because 1, he does have vaults here. 2, there's also an even scarier proposition of having you just carrying it around the world.
Yep.
He seems
Yep.
like, okay, this isn't the best plan either.
Just carrying it around.
Yeah.
It can also be tremendously positive. I cannot stress this enough.
This is the one person in recent history that has
Yes.
it.
I mean, Lord Círdan's doing fine. He has one on the regular.
Oh, man.
All right. So
Heck, they could even talk to each other once in a while.
Just put a note on it. Only look west.
all right, the company elects a spokesperson to present themselves to the folk encountered. You've already kind of done an introduction, but that's all right. This is the actual ask.
Mechanical.
Since you've done the first ask, I'm going to have you make the first roll.
Okay.
It's okay. You're going to make an awe, courtesy, or riddle skill
Courtesy,
roll.
please.
Yeah.
Putting that ring on.
Yeah.
Love that.
Sorry, Elrond.
No, it's cool.
Putting the whammy on Elrond.
And this will determine the council's time limit.
Okay.
All right. So on a success, the time limit is resistance plus 1 for each Tegwar icon rolled.
We're burning all of the fellowship points
Yeah.
during this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I use a fellowship point, please?
Go to Hope, yeah.
Yeah.
This is our hope, our last hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, courtesy.
Yeah, so it's
We use a fellowship point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have so a resistance of 8 and then +1 for each Tangwar you roll.
Okay.
If it's a success.
So I just have
Resistance
to.
of 8.
That's your resistance from before. That's what you have to reach. This is the part you want to get high on.
Oh, I got a Gandalf and a Tangwar.
Okay.
Ooh.
In your face, Elrond.
All right.
Big whammy.
So you have
You're just like, no.
so you have a time limit of 9,
Huh.
which is
All right.
good. Okay.
We can mess up once.
Yeah, I got, let's see. My target number is 12, and I got 24, 25, 29.
Okay. I'm gonna give you an extra one since you got a Tangwar, or since you got a Gandalf rune too.
Okay.
So you're gonna have 10.
Whoa.
So you have a
Okay.
time limit of 10.
Okay.
So players are going to describe their conduct and then make appropriate skill rolls to accumulate enough successes to match or exceed the resistance. Okay. You can roll Enhearten, Insight, Persuade, Riddle, or Song. Okay. On a success, a Tangwar yields an additional success. Okay. So you have to roll that. So you basically have to get 8 of these in 10 tries. But a Tangwar equals an extra one. So
Can I make a plea, oh great and mighty game master, since I also gave him a very nice book for that to be one of the things that I can roll?
yeah, I will give you an extra die on
Okay.
your.
I was gonna ask if I could just roll craft because I gave him a thing that I made.
Oh, yeah. I'll let
This
you for your
is
first
useful
roll.
skills.
Yes, I'll let you roll that if you're gonna do it. So let's see. We're gonna say that he is open, so that just means that there's no plus or minus die. He's open to this proposition because he realizes the danger that this poses, and having 4 very nice but kind of thrown together like strange adventurers carrying this around is not the best idea. But also it's like, I don't know if I want this in my house. So he's just open. He's kind of neutral and willing to be convinced. So are you going to go first then, Erland?
Yeah, if that's all right with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna say that go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna say that you're giving him that book was kind of the first step. So go ahead and roll craft for this one.
Oh, big success.
Okay.
Gandalf rune, Tangwar, well beat my TN.
Okay. So we get 2 successes out of our 8 on our first roll.
Big
So-
money.
Big money. Elrond loves books.
Yeah.
So this is a very good book.
Again, this was I see you.
Yeah. And he was very impressed by this. He was also impressed by the fact that you defeated these beasts and that you have given him the information that this darkness has been infiltrating even the Shire.
Mm-hmm.
Like that makes him very nervous, and it makes him want to have this item somewhere where he can keep it protected. And he knows that in the world, like Rivendell is one of the only places that can kind of stand against the darkness, at least for a little while. So, all right. Who's next? You can do Enhearten, Insight, Persuade, Riddle, or Song.
Also, his book is now fireproof.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool.
I'll give it a shot,
Okay.
actually. So, first of all, I'm going to burn a hope point
Okay.
for that. So I have 2 pips in song, and I'm favored.
Okay.
So I'm going to burn a hope point to add a 3rd die.
Yeah.
Can I actually pull out my beaten lute and sing a song about how the hobbits, so, I noticed the ring on its finger, how rings were given to the dwarves, the elves, and man. But the hobbits were spared that.
Oh.
And that we would like to be sort of at least a haven from this sort of darkness that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to add a die for using my lute to sing that song?
I'm gonna say no.
No is a perfectly fine answer.
Yeah, you've got a lot of bonuses already.
I'm still, rolling favored with an
Yeah,
extra die,
go.
so-
And the lute is wait, the lute wasn't what was blessed by the lady, right? No, it was your armor.
No, that's
Okay.
just like one of my sort of big primary items. So.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, that is certainly a success. 9, 12, 14, 18 with a Tangwar. It's a great
Oh.
success.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh,
So that's 4 out of 8 so far.
Great.
Nice job.
2 rolls.
Yeah.
Got him on the ropes.
I know.
Softening him up.
So he is very moved by this, and he kind of like strokes puts his hand on his ring and kind of like runs his fingers over it and smiles at you a little bit sadly. And the rings give us the power to protect ourselves now, but they come at a great cost. It is brave of you to face these dangers, Master Hobbit.
I'm not going to sing the songs that hobbits sing that were like, why didn't we get a ring?
I don't even know if
Anyway.
I doubt even most hobbits even know about the rings,
I
honestly.
figured, yeah.
Like you do, because like, look at the company you keep.
Yep.
But most elves are like, what do you mean rings? Or hobbits, sorry.
Hobbit, yeah.
Yeah, most hobbits. Elves definitely like, oh yeah, the rings.
Oh yeah, the rings though.
The rings.
Sorry about that.
So-
Our bad.
Yeah.
I find the idea of a hobbit with a ring delightful.
Just like a hobbit with a palantir.
I mean, either way, yeah, it's all good.
There's a lot of books about it.
Right?
No, but you know, I want like a hobbit with a ring that knows what they're doing.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah, sure. Intentionally got the
Bilbo
ring.
Baggins doesn't know what he's doing.
like a hobbit warlord or something. It's just
No, when hobbits
know.
keep the ring, they become Gollum.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
well, that's that ring.
Yeah.
We don't know what.
Oh,
one
the other-
made
okay,
for that- like
that's
if there
true.
had been one made for a hobbit, who knows what it would do?
Food.
It's just
The
someone's
best
food.
Yeah.
chef in.
They're just, I'm a little hungry, and they just reach in the pack, and out comes.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm ruining our council now.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna try and hearten.
Okay.
In character, like out of character question about something that I would possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be rude to do a little magic?
Like,
Like specifically, I had chosen in hearten as one of my things with my broken old dwarven spells.
oh yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
As long as it's not malicious, I think that would be fine.
No, and it's not like weird,
Yeah.
like I'm affecting your mind. No, it's just
Yeah. For a moment, I forgot. I'm like, are you gonna have him pick up card? Like, what's
Pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Listen, you're gonna do it to any of the elf lords. Elrond is the one to do it to, but also
Maybe not right now.
killed David.
Sorry. Sorry. I've ruined our town even more. So yeah, like legit dwarven magic. Yes, that's absolutely something you can do.
I envision Hanar now as the dwarven version of what's his Tomlinson, the guy in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
With the fold out thing, and he's
Yeah.
like, "You can hit the glass and it won't break." Smash! Oh no! Look over there. All right.
Oh.
You may roll in Hearten.
All right. I think like Hanar kind of stands up, and he hits his chest a few times,
Mhm.
and the voice that comes out as he starts to talk is not the voice you guys know. Like it is just the best way I could describe it would be of the mountain, right? Like it is just it is two ancient boulders that have grown together to make a voice. To sort of I think he probably tells the tale of like it's strange for a dwarf not to know how to keep something safe. Like we build giant fortresses and apparently that isn't good enough. Right? A dragon came and took one away from us. We've just gotten it back. What else can show up if this were to be kept there? That kind of a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
Well, I still made it.
Okay.
Just by like on the money.
Okay.
But I got an eye.
Oh.
Oh no.
All right. For a success with a woe.
Wait, were you rolling favored?
No.
Oh, I thought you said you were rolling favored.
No, I got an extra success die because of the magic, yeah.
Let's see. If a company fails to match or beat the resistance rating within... Oh, sorry. No, this is at the end. The consequences. So I think it still is a success, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I made it to the number, just I got the eye.
I feel like the eye needs to do something. I'm going to say... I'm going to do like a half.
A half.
Yeah.
We're at 3.5.
No, you're at 4.5.
Or
I mean, I'm counting down.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Or instead of making it half, because that makes it complicated.
Yeah.
Do you want to make it so like the next roll is
It's
harder?
ill-favored.
Like ill-favored or
We'll
something?
do that. Yeah.
That
so
makes sense.
I like that. That's much better. Yeah, halves was a little confusing, but like, so
Because
yeah.
we're gonna make it over by half. We're
Yeah.
not gonna.
Yeah.
So your description of this makes him think that maybe, yes, the dwarves lost to Smaug, but he's now been taken care of. There aren't any other great dragons. Actually having, like getting into a dwarven stronghold is quite a task. And he's kind of now thinking, maybe that's a better place for this. He wouldn't ever really want to send it to the dwarves, but he's now trying to think of alternatives in his mind of places other than Rivendell that might be a bit more fortified, and not be where his daughter and children are. So
Maybe this is why she goes and lives somewhere else for a while.
Yes. Yeah. So we are going to have the next person to roll. Bruna. You're gonna roll ill-favored.
Okay.
My bad.
Sharing the love.
So you can roll Enhearten, Insight, Persuade, Riddle, or Song.
We're going Persuade, and I'm
Okay.
gonna burn a hope.
Okay. And you're gonna roll 2 d12s and take the lower one.
Dice. Please cooperate. I don't know if that's better. Actually, yeah, it is better. I'm gonna take the lower one. Wait, the lower one is...
That would be the worst outcome.
But it's not the lower number.
It's technically a 1.
Bitch.
Oh, it's the thing. Yeah.
I got the
eye.
But did you
no.
succeed?
But I do succeed.
Okay. Well, we'll
Did
get
it again.
Yeah. We'll get.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like
Just pass him the buck.
Yeah.
So we'll get 1 success. So we're at 5, 6. So we need 2 more successes. So the next person to go, anyone can go this time because we don't have to go in the same order every time. Does anyone else have an idea of what they'd like to do?
Actually, I would like to use Riddle
Okay.
to start asking the council some probing questions about the possible consequences of what happens if this thing remains out in the world instead of being somewhere safe
I like that.
where everyone can see.
All right.
I'm going to burn 1 more hope point.
Okay, and you're rolling ill-favored.
I am rolling ill-favored, but I do have 4 success dice on this. So, come on, double Gandalf runes. Oh my lord. Okay, so I rolled a 2 on my feet die, but it is an oh, hold on. My target number is 14. It is an extraordinary success. I get, and I just want to total this up, 12, 15, 20, 22 with 2 Tangwars.
Oh!
An extraordinary success.
Good job,
that's it?
sausage.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you are at.
If I had
8.
glasses, I'd be like,
Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
step up onto like a podium,
Yeah,
start on
you.
my PowerPoint
Yeah,
presentation.
right?
actually, Elrond.
All right, you absolutely succeed, and this is the thing that the thread that you pull on that kind of unravels Elrond's resistance. The thought of having this possibly be taken from you, even though you have the best intentions, and then put to the use of the enemy is just not something that he can abide. You have made your point. And I will take this burden and keep it in our vaults.
Thank you.
might I keep the casing that it's in?
Of course. And I'll pull it out.
He like gently takes it, almost like it's gonna like attack him or bite him. He's like very ginger, a little nervous about it.
I think that there's actually like a second where like I don't let go immediately, but then I do.
Okay.
Like just enough hesitance that like he probably felt it, and then
Thank you. I will get the casing back to you. I have something that it may be kept in, but for now, before you leave, you'll have it back.
please, as long as you require. If that is its permanent home, it would not be a problem.
Indeed. I am hesitant. This is what it was in when you retrieved it?
Yes.
Yes.
And there was something mighty fierce attached to it.
Indeed.
Yes.
It would have to be. And you haven't told him what that was, right?
There was mention of it. Yeah.
Briefly,
Mention the
mentioned
darkness.
what it
Okay.
was. Yeah.
The fish. Okay.
Yeah,
I think we couldn't hold back, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what horrible thing
Yeah.
was toting this thing around and banging it into us.
Yes. Well, I hesitate to keep it encased in something created by such darkness.
Mm.
But I will return it to you. He like raises his hand, and then one of his sons comes in. He's not going to just hand this off to anyone. Can't tell which one.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them. They're twins.
Tall, dark-haired, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Doing good.
So beautiful. He hands it to him and like gives him like a knowing look, and his son looks very serious and somber and nods and like quickly ushers it away. And rest here for a few days. Will you return to Midland?
I'm not sure where our journeys will take us next.
Indeed. Well, I will give you what help I may. I have a trusted friend that I will perhaps send with you on your journeys. A bit of an escort. Someone to help guide you wherever it is you wish to go next and keep you safe.
That'd be appreciated.
I will send for them and you'll meet them soon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lord Elrond.
It is my pleasure. Though you brought darkness here, your bravery is to be commended. Thank you for all that you have done, and for the stout heart and the wisdom that you've shown in this undertaking.
I think we bow,
Mhm.
take our leave.
And he bows to you, Tony. Namari.
Namari.
And he does speak Quenya on purpose. And,
Yeah.
yeah, and then turns and follows to where his son had walked.
That went surprisingly well.
Very well.
It is a relief to know that that thing is in more, is in safer hands.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to go rest, I think.
That seems like a good idea.
Yes. What about you both?
I think I should try and find Lady Arwen again.
She did mention that she would show me the vault. I will find her later, though.
What about you, Sausage?
I believe I need a little time to myself. This has been such an ordeal. I am going to find someplace nice and high, and I'm going to breathe in the air of the forest and play some songs.
Sounds quite lovely. I'll listen for it on the wind.
Had my eye on a nice tree next to a waterfall. think I'm in for a good climb. I promise not to fall down the waterfall.
Don't
Again.
make promises you can't keep.
I know we are way over time. Thank you all for being patient. But I do want us to kind of wrap some things up. You're climbing the waterfall is like the delight of many elves. You end up like turning and you see like there's actually quite a collection. You have an audience kind of all and such things. Did we want a final scene of some sort, or did you?
Yeah, I think so. As the sun starts to set and the golden hour begins to, turn the tops of the trees this beautiful orange, you'll all kind of converge and you'll find Sausage just standing at a balcony, hands up at the railing like so. Well, one hand up at the railing, you see the other hand is, again, clutching that object that you weren't sure what it was, and then you recognize it as a handkerchief, with that little blossom inside. And I just hold on to it and I'm keeping it close to my heart. And when I hear you all approach, there's a sort of startle.
Oh.
And I turn to you all and I say, my fellowship, this journey has been long, it has been eventful. But coming here and seeing the peace of this place, seeing the beautiful Lady Arwen, but mostly speaking to the defense of the Shire, has made me realize that my heart is not just somewhere, but with someone. And I kind of take fond looks at all of you. And I say, well, first of all, to Hanar, I say, Hanar, it has been incredibly joyful to see the world in your eyes. You have traveled so far, spoken to so many, seen so many different lands that I had no clue I would be able to reach. It has been truly wonderful to be by your side. Runa, I never thought I would find another family outside of the Shire. But you gave me another mum and another granddam. But also you gave me you. This sister I never had. And family that I never really had, even growing up in the Shire. I am going to miss your climbs and climbing after you and going on these adventures, these treks with you. Oh, the things you've seen, the lengths of the days you've lived in this world. I'm never going to be able to touch even a fraction of it. But, oh, the sea that you showed me, and the salt air that I breathed, and the wonderful tales and songs you shared. I cannot wait to share those with Petunia. And I cannot wait to share everything we have had with Petunia. I cannot wait to share a life with her, as long as she will have me.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, Petunia. You don't worry about it, no. I say, my fellowship, I must follow my heart now. And I'm afraid that I must face the rest of my days in the Shire, hoping to keep it safe from within, and be close to this new love that I had found I didn't even know that I had in me. My door will always be open to you,
Mick, always open to you and are.
Excellent.
Sausage.
Yes.
You have left an indelible mark that almost no hobbit has ever left on this world, and it will never be forgotten. Not in song, not even in the undying lands beyond.
No, no. The one thing that I am going to ask of you is that my tale remain unsung. For I want no word to lead anyone or anything to the Shire. You may take my memory with you. You may keep it in your books, but I must fade into obscurity. For fame and fortune, I have learned, chase it as I have these times that we've spent. It is sometimes more a burden than a gift. Sing your songs, tell your tales. My name must never grace any of them.
We will keep your songs in our heart and off of our lips,
As
if
I
we
should
must.
keep yours in mind. Those legends and tales of fantastical stories that I will be telling Petunia. Maybe my own progeny. We shall see.
I hope so. Sausage, my good friend, my brother. I will miss you. I will miss adventuring with you. But I am so happy for you, and it makes my heart so full to see you speak of Petunia. And please know that you will always be a part of my family, and now Petunia will.
Mm.
I welcome her as a sister.
I just start, like, at that point, tears stream from my eyes, and I kind of clutch at all of you, and I pull you all near. I'm going to, I need a little time to compose myself. And so, as the embrace breaks, I will sing, one last lyric, that lyric that I said about, it's hard to say goodbye to those who are your closest to, the people you haven't met. At least you don't have to say goodbye yet. And then I will turn and sort of walk and just kind of find solace. And I think each of you in your heart knows that I need this time. I think that sausage needs to sort of fade away. And so as the night, draws and you all kind of go into your beds, I'm actually going to pack my stuff. I'm going to saddle up Cheese, and I'm going to start riding back to the Shire, to kind of reflect on everything that's happened with all of us. And then when you all wake up, you realize that I'm gone. And you can only speculate, kind of envision walking, my horse kind of clip-clopping back into the Shire to be welcomed into a new life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
No, go ahead.
So, what you may or may not be aware of as you leave Rivendell is Elrond has sent some elves to kind of guard you as you kind of leave. So they go with you up into just where it becomes wildlands. So then you can make your way back to Bree and the rest of the Shire on your own. And this, the amazing Burl Sausage Brandy Bottom exits our tale at this point. So thank you, Jay, so much for being a part of our tale.
Oh my gosh, thank you all. This has been a wonderful, wonderful story.
Yeah.
And I would say game, but it's not, because it has been just this incredible tale through and through.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Every one of you.
So
amazing time.
yeah, so much. You did such a great job at that. I was like tearing up. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, Jay, because of real life, which always gets in the way of all our fun, has to step away from right now. He might be able to sub in sometimes. We will be, Dave.
I know.
I know, so good. So much,
good.
so tears, like all the tears. We will be having someone new joining our adventuring party next week. You'll get to meet them then. And yeah, we'll see how that all works.
Yeah.
So, and that was just, I have to say, like one of the most amazing exits to a game I've ever
Beautiful.
heard. That was
Yeah.
amazing,
Gosh,
Jay.
you know, it's all of you. It's all of you. It's all like all this just relationships that we've built. So much to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. I've loved every single moment of this.
So we're going to stop there. So we will, next session, wake up with 3 of you still in Rivendell, and we will see where everything goes after this in our fellowship. And okay, so getting over
I know.
that amazing thing. So thank you all for joining us, whether you're listening or watching. We really appreciate you being part of our story and being here with us. Thank you so much to our chat mods for your hard work. James V, you're amazing. Thank you to our amazing Patreons who keep us ad-free and independent. It's because of you we get to play any game we want and not have to worry about sponsorships or ad revenue. So thank you so much for keeping us going and keeping us like our journalistic integrity. I don't know. Our playing game integrity. I don't know. You can join their heroic ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. And let's go around the table. Let's start. Where did we start this last time?
We started with Dave
Okay,
tonight,
so we'll start with
That's me. Hello, I'm Sam. I've been Runa of Bree, your friendly neighborhood tree climbing treasure hunter. I have feelings. Hold on.
I know.
I know.
You can find me on the internets at Red Pandroid, and here on Mondays playing this amazing, wonderful game with this delightful cast. We will miss you so much, Jay.
Yeah.
I do some art, and if you want to check it out, you can go to Kimmy's amazing game Decima to see the art I did on
So
for her
good.
tarot cards, which
Yes.
are wonderful.
Yes,
And
yes, they are wonderful because of you. Yes.
I complimented myself. I also just today soft launched my spring collection of delightfully weird clothing that you can buy in my store, stiarnastore.com. You can find links to it on my socials, and you can go check it out at the shop. It is a little bit of like a rainbow nightmare. So if you like creepy things and bright colors, go check it out.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. I've been crying. I mean, Erland.
Right?
Jay, I'm sincerely gonna miss you and Sausage so much at this game. Okay, the end spiel. Hello. You can find me on all social media platforms as Estelle of Imladris.
We know what Himlandris is now.
Yeah. Hey.
Is there
And
some random elf named Estelle?
it's Aragorn.
It's Aragorn.
Oh.
That's his name, yeah.
So yes, hey, my secret's out. My screen name is just Aragorn. Weird. Tomorrow, the third episode of the web series that I was the costume designer for, called The Party, which you can find at Party Web Series on all social media platforms. It is a web series about friends that play tabletop games together. Fully wild. It is a comedy series. They're all really short episodes, and it is a full blast. So check it out. It's free on YouTube. And then I also dropped a new episode of the podcast that I am in from the Lore Brewery that is a fairy tale 5e adventure called Far, Far Away yesterday, where you see what happens after you fight a giant dragon goose monster. Yep, it went really well. I play a horrible boy there.
Untitled Dragon Goose Monster Game.
Yeah.
Dave's next game.
Steals your picnic basket.
These are
So yeah,
terrible.
and you can find me here in a week, probably still crying.
Yeah.
Hello everybody. I'm Jay. I was Burl Sausage Brandy Bottom. I'm not gonna promote my socials because right now all I want to do is say thank you to Dave, thank you to Kai, thank you to Sam for being a wonderful fellowship. Thank you so much to Kimmy for bringing me on board, for being an awesome lore master, and thank you all so much for watching. My tenure here, and for coming along on this journey with all of us. I can't wait to hear the continuing adventures of the Unsung Tales. And I hope you will all follow along too, of course. I can't wait to see what the new party member brings to the
know.
fellowship.
Oh my god.
So,
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi everybody. I'm Dave. And I need to hunt down that other bard guy now.
What?
The one that we all
Get away
went
from one.
by?
Oh, yes.
Benedict the Burly?
Benedict.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta hunt that guy down just to make sure he doesn't sing about
Oh,
something.
yeah, we're gonna have to find him now. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally at the end, Erlen was like, who all did I tell?
But aside from that, yeah, I'm not really doing much this week. My kids are on spring break, so that's all
yeah.
of my free time.
Yeah.
Other than sitting around and hoping that computer parts come in stock, because I've started the quest again to build a new computer.
Oh, God.
Oh.
So, and bizarrely, the thing that's holding me up now is fans.
Oh,
Oh.
but they're so important.
There's a specific fan that I want to get, and it's nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stupid.
Computer parts.
Yeah. But other than that, and me clicking refresh a bunch of times, I'll be waiting anxiously to come back here next Monday.
Yeah. And meet our new friend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Slash frenemy. Slash enemy. Who
Erlen
knows?
doesn't meet people super good. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah.
It's gonna go really bad.
Hi, I'm Kimmy. I've been your lore master for this game, and even though I knew what was coming, like it still like hit me, like it hurt. It hurt a lot. Jay, you've been amazing, and you just dove in with all the lore, and pretty soon were telling me things, and I was like, wow, it's amazing. So great job, and you just embodied a Hobbit, like heart, mind, and soul. It was beautiful and fantastic, and quite honestly, you've kind of been the heart of this fellowship.
Mhm.
So it's going to be an amazing adventure, but it will be a very different fellowship after you're gone. Yeah, sorry, I'm crying again. You can find me at Golden Lasso Girl on all social medias. I'm here on Monday nights. I'm here also every Friday night for our RPG advice show, which is a lot sillier. And we basically read emails sent in from fans around the world and answer questions, share their stories, give advice, start telling random stuff. If you want to feel like you're hanging out with your friends talking about gaming, like come watch it. You'll be home. It'll be great. And you can also find the games that I design at goldenlassogames.com. One of them is the beautiful Decima deck that was drawn by Samantha over here. I also have a game called Virgins and Vixens, which is a super easy, like rules light game about breaking the tropes of women in mythology and fantasy and lores around the world. And then I also, right now, I'm in beta for Starscape PBTA, which is playtesting right now. It's version 3 beta test, which I will release as soon as I see if it works and how hard we can break it as we play around the fire pit on Saturday nights. So soon. And again, all that is at goldenlassogames.com. Thank you again for joining us. To find all the different campaigns on the Happy Jacks Network that have been happening for many, many, many years now. Like long ago in
So
like
many.
2011 we started making actual plays, and then eventually we started streaming too, so they're in podcast form, and now you can watch us in
As long as Erlen's been
faces.
alive.
It feels it. Like it feels
Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that game.
it. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And
I
like
didn't have kids when we played that game.
right?
Like,
Or the one where I was super pregnant, I was trying to hide it with like the big name tags, like
Oh.
super wild. But yeah, we have actual plays in like 25 plus different systems, and you can find them all at happyjacks.org. So thank you all so much, and we will see you for this next Monday. Except for Jay. I won't be here. Take us out, Dave.
Good night,
Take us
sausage.
out. Goodbye.